We've all seen athletes who play hurt and somehow manage to help their team. Well, no better example of that in motorsports than what this man did 2 weeks ago at Watkins Glen. Somehow managed to put this car on the pole and qualify with a new track record and hang on for 90 laps for a sixth-place finish. Then last week at Michigan, well, he ran all day and unbelievably escaped uninjured in this wild spin late in the race. Brought the Chevrolet home in 17th spot. The Bristol Motor Speedway, well, it's hard to run 500 laps here and not hit somebody or something. And Earnhardt's record over the years, well, like everyone else, he's had his number of problems here. He's been banged and beaten and bruised and battered. This concrete doesn't give very much. But here is the problem tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway. Dale Earnhardt's problem is the clavicle is still broken. And with the clavicle right here, the collarbone, here's what happens. He goes in the corner, his body and head goes to the right, and that belt pulls down right on the fracture site, trying to pull those bones apart. Not only that, the muscle that holds his head up and part of the neck attaches right on top of the clavicle, folks. That's going to be painful. The word is they're going to have Mike Wallace standing by. This camp says Earnhardt could get out early. The team says early could be, well, lap 25 or 30, but Earnhardt says early could be Sunday morning. Now, two other drivers will miss the Battle of Bristol tonight. Bill Elliott in the car number 94 will have Bobby Hillen subbing for him, and Kyle Petty will have Jim Sauter in his car. Both those drivers expected to be back at Darlington next week. For more, let's go to Bill Weber.
Well, Jerry, Mark Martin hasn't won a race this season, and last week he not only lost the race, they broke his heart. Dale Jarrett passed him with 8 laps to go, but tonight, Mark Martin is back on the pole at Bristol, a familiar spot. 4 straight poles at this track. He's 5th in points, but Mark Martin hasn't won a Winston Cup race in 24 events. Speaking of 24, next to him is Jeff Gordon in car number 24, starting on the front row for the 10th time this season. He won in the spring race. He's tied for 2nd in points. Next is Terry Labonte, the man that Gordon is chasing in points. Terry won this race a year ago. It was his 2nd career win at Bristol. His first career win came 12 years ago tomorrow. It was 1984. It was his only win. Oh yeah, he also won the championship that year. But if you believe in numbers, how about Rusty Wallace? He qualified 5th. He's won here 5 times. He's looking for his 5th win of the season. He starts behind car number 5. Oh yeah, his last win 5 races ago. Now let's go to John Kernan.
Bill, I got 3 sleepers for you. You got the 21, the 41, and the 81. Kenny Wallace, a Busch Series victory here. Michael Walter also has a Busch Series victory here. And how about Ricky Craven? His crew chief, Charlie Presley, made some last-minute changes that they hope will make that car a rocket ship. And now let's go to our national anthem.
Tonight to sing the national anthem for the Goody's Headache Powders 500. Her first CD is gold in the U.S. It's platinum in Canada. She's currently up for 7 Canadian CMA awards, including Entertainer of the Year. Join me now in welcoming Mercury recording artist, Miss Terry Clark.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Mr. Neil Morgan.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
This is a Bruton Smith racetrack, fireworks, everything. This is exciting. But you know, Ned, people stop me on the street all weekend and they say, Benny, give me a prediction. What's going to happen at Bristol? What do you predict, Ned?
I tell fans, the only thing you can predict at Bristol is that you can't predict anything. There are so many variables here that you can't predict who's going to win this race. You know who's going to run good, and you know that the winners in the past. And Darrell Waltrip 7 in a row, I still don't understand how he ever did that. But things happen so quick on this racetrack that you can get caught up in somebody else's mistake and can be out of this thing in a second.
And most of those things are caused by track position. Sometimes a slow car will stay out gas only, change 2 tires, get in front of a faster car. It's kind of like, you know, when you go to the mall on Christmas and, you know, you get in those long lines, you know, your patience only can last for so long, and then you start doing things you shouldn't do. Those fast cars only have patience for so long, they start beating on another car. Pretty soon, we have a spin, and as you said, Ned, several cars involved.
Stay tuned, folks. It's going to get exciting.
The excitement begins to build. We only have 10 more races to go in the 1996 NASCAR Winston Cup season, and 1 through 4 in the points are separated by just 137, with second and third tied, and 6 through 10 are only 120 points apart. So a close, tight race as we go into this event here at Bristol Motor Speedway. And of the top 4, 3 of them have won a race here. The only exception is Dale Jarrett. He's never won on a short track. However, he is the hottest driver on the circuit right now. He has scored more points and has the best average finishing position of anyone in the last 6 races. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for tonight's Goody's Headache Powder 500. On the pole is Mark Martin, and alongside will be Jeff Gordon.
And in row 2, there's Terry Labonte, the winner here last. Oh, what an exciting race last year. And also Ricky Craven.
And in row 3, we have Michael Waltrip, good qualifying run, and Rusty Wallace.
Cars begin to pull out. Kenny Wallace and Ernie Irvin will be starting in row number 4.
How about in row 5? There's Dale Jarrett, last week's winner, and Kenny Schrader.
And row 6, we have Sterling Marlin, who's running good here, and Jeff Bodine, winner a couple of weeks ago at Watkins Glen.
Back in row number 7 will be Ricky Rudd and Joe Nemechek.
Row 8, back in that 15th spot, Jimmy Spencer and Morgan Shepherd.
And row 9, we find Hutch Strickland and Jeff Burton, last week's pole winner.
In the 10th row on the inside will be Brett Bodine alongside the 12-time winner here at Bristol, Darrell Waltrip.
Ward Burton on the inside of row 11 and Bobby Labonte on the outside.
And in row 12 is Dale Earnhardt and Dave Marcus.
The 13th row consists of Dick Trickle and Lake Speed.
Row 14, 27th, Gary Bradbury, 28th, Ted Musgrave.
And in row 15, we have Johnny Benson, rookie driver, and Rick Mast.
You can see the flash bulbs going off in the grandstand as the cars make their way around. There's the 16th row, Robert Presley and Wally Dallenbach. 17th row, Jim Sauter substituting for Kyle Petty. Then the provisional starters include Bobby Hamilton and Jeremy Mayfield. Back in the 19th row, a couple of more provisional starters, Derry Cope and Chad Little in the 29 Cartoon Car Network tonight. And Bobby Hillen will be starting for Bill Elliott.
In-car cameras on top of Rusty Wallace, Miller Ford it is. On the outside of him, we find Michael Waltrip, the Citgo Ford, a roof camera on that car.
Jim Sauter will also have a roof cam. This is the Coors Light machine that Kyle Petty normally drives. Ken Schrader will also carry a roof cam in the Budweiser car. And finally, our 5th car to carry an onboard camera will be Mark Martin, the pole sitter. He looks back on the rest of the starting lineup. Let's take a look at our race analysis. We'll go 500 laps. The record was set by Charlie Glotzback way back in 1971. They'll have to pit between laps 140 and 150. And the total purse here tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway is $1.4 million. We've had some rain here. It rained quite hard about 2 o'clock and again around 5 o'clock. It has not rained since about 5:30. The track is dry. The fans are here. We're set to go. And 500 laps of Bristol is one of the most exciting events you can ever see. Quickly to the pits and Jerry Punch.
Hey, Bob, now the guessing game has begun. All down pit road behind me. Here is Jeff Gordon's pit. They won this race back in the spring. They won it spring a year ago. Terry Labonte won this race last August. But the guessing really has begun as to exactly what the rain has done with the racetrack. Ordinarily, rain would tighten up the track. A lot of guys could be very, very tight and have a push when the green flag drops. Let's check in with Bill Weber.
First race here at Bristol, July 1961. Jack Smith won it, but he needed relief help. There's another guy in this starting field that might be looking for relief help. That's Dale Earnhardt. Johnny Allen was the relief man back then. Will Mike Wallace be a relief man coming out of the bullpen and a hero tonight? We'll wait to see when the green flag falls. To John Kernan.
Well, Bill, I'm back in Dale Earnhardt's pit, and Mike Wallace is standing here. He's talking to all the crew members, and he's probably the most anxious man who's not in a race car right now for this start, because he knows that if he can get into that 3 car and come through with a good finish for the Richard Childress team, that could do a lot to improve his stock for getting a full-time Winston Cup ride for next year. Will Earnhardt get out of the car? Well, we're just going to have to wait and see.
Dale Earnhardt is set to go as the field comes along down through corner number 4 and onto the main straightaway once again. Tonight's field consists of 23 Fords, 11 Chevys, and 5 Pontiacs. Mark Martin is starting his 4th race in a row on the pole, and the 95 car of Gary Bradbury makes a pit stop along the backstretch, pulling out onto the track once again. He'll be falling into the rear of the field.
Bob, there were 40 cars that came here to attempt to qualify. 39 of them were starting. The only one that failed to qualify was Bobby Hillen, and he only like a thousandth of a second getting into the field. But he is in the field driving for Bill Elliott. Of course, it's in Bill Elliott's car.
This is Thunder Valley. We're surrounded by mountains, and when the cars accelerate and the speeds begin to pick up, it is deafening. This place actually shakes. The field is ready, and we're ready for the Goody's Headache Powder 500 from Bristol Motor Speedway.
Get to the inside as quickly as you can. We see Musgrave, the 16 car, hung on the outside. All these cars going by. Bobby Hamilton goes by. Derek Cope goes by.
He should let Cope go by and duck in, and that's exactly what he does. Single file now, everybody in the field.
That's for about 32nd position here in the early going. Bobby Hamilton, Derek Cope, and Ted Musgrave finally get into single file formation. Now Cope coming up on the back of the Bobby Hamilton car. Mark Martin, who led the most laps last week at Michigan International Speedway. In fact, he led 135 of the 200, is the leader here. And Jeff Gordon is about 2 car lengths behind.
And they pulled out to about a 15 car length lead over the 3rd place car of Terry Labonte. See there the distance as they come off turn 4.
Jarrett following his teammate Ernie Irvan. Sterling Marlin is right behind Dale Jarrett. Ricky Rudd is also.
And you can see they're chasing Kenny Wallace in the 81 car. And on our scoring pylon, you can see Kenny Wallace is the 7th place vehicle.
Right in front of Kenny is Michael Waltrip and Rusty Wallace, who is running in in 5th place has opened up a half of a turn. And here goes the lead.
Mark Martin is about to lose the lead to Jeff Gordon. Gordon pulled the pass going into turn number 1. And so Jeff Gordon, who has led now in his 17th race, is in the lead. Here is Derek Cope to the bottom of Jim Sauter and taking away that position for 29th.
And Ted Musgrave will come right along. Boy, once you get up out of that bottom groove, other cars will follow right along.
Already the field encircles about 3/4 of this racetrack. We welcome you to Thunder Valley. Sit back and enjoy an evening of NASCAR Winston Cup racing here on ESPN. Jeff Gordon, your early leader, over Mark Martin, Terry Labonte, Ricky Craven, and Rusty Wallace. The caution is out for the first time tonight here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Spin over in turn number 2. Jeff Gordon is the leader of the race, and we have completed 20 circuits. Jimmy Spencer was the one who originally spun, but Johnny Benson, I think you'll agree, got the worst end of the deal. Here it is as they come off corner number 4 onto the main straightaway.
Jeff go down the 7 car, QVC car. They go in the corner. They make contact. Spencer tries to keep off the 7 car. When he does, he spins. Now he nails the gas, does a 360. He's hard on the accelerator, but behind, Johnny Benson gets tapped by the 33 car. He ran in the back, looked like the 15 car. And we see Derek Cope stops, and the leaders did go by and lap those cars. Here we see Jeff Gordon. He goes high, Wally Darling back. See the 95 car of Gary Bradbury. Jeff Gordon lapped him, but he did slow down and let Bradbury pass him before he got back to start-finish line. So right now, every car except a couple of cars that were involved in the action are on the lead lap.
Derek Cope and Johnny Benson both went a lap down.
Mike Wallace does not have his helmet on, so I think you could gather by that there will be no driver change at this point, and there may never be tonight. That's one of the things, of course, we'll be keeping a close eye on. Dale Earnhardt is running 16th at the moment.
Made a lot of progress.
So our first caution is waving. We had 15 cautions last year in this race for a total of 106 laps. The record number of cautions here at Bristol occurred in the April race of 1989 when there were 20. There you see Robert Presley going back out onto the racetrack, and we jump inside the car driven by Rusty Wallace, and Wallace has moved up to 4th position.
Rusty Wallace has a very, very fast race car tonight.
A couple cars have made pit stops, Robert Presley and Dick Trickle, and now the green flag is waving. Trickle's still down on the bottom of the racetrack. He didn't catch up to the pack.
And we see Trickle on the bottom having trouble getting up to speed.
There's a lap car between 1st and 2nd. Terry Cope is between Gordon and Martin.
Ever see Derek Cope trying to get underneath Jeff Gordon? Get a lap back, and he does it. Look at that.
Hey, that's pretty impressive.
But isn't that a situation where Jeff would probably rather let him get the lap back than argue with him this early in the race?
I would think, yeah, because he knows that there's always that possibility of just a little bit of a tap, and it doesn't take much. You're almost out of control going around these turns anyway, and somebody tapped you just a little bit. Yeah, I'd say that was a good defensive move.
Rusty Wallace has to be one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. He's now working on 3rd place. Terry Labonte, nope, not anymore. Wallace is in 3rd.
I was surprised that Johnny Benson did not come up to the head of the pack. He lost a lap in that spin over there, but he didn't come up there like Derek Cope did and try to get his lap back. He stayed back in the back of the pack.
Already gaining 2 positions here in the first 26 laps of the race. There's now 4th position of Terry Labonte.
Big triple there in the 90 car. The Holly Mars car has landed behind Labonte. He is 1 lap down to the field. As we see Jimmy Spencer trying to get on the inside of Joe Nemechek. Does it.
Robert Preston down on the inside. He came out of the pits and went to the back of the pack, but he is not running totally up to speed. He has lost a lap now.
Jimmy Spencer did not lose a lap when he spun. Now we focus in on the battle of teammates, Irvin and Dale Jarrett, and Jarrett trying to take away 8th.
We see the 33 car high on the racetrack as all the other cars go by. We see the damage on the right front fender press this car. He did make contact. Looks like he has a flat tire. Certainly driving the car.
John Kernan has a report. John?
Well, Robert Presley was in. They worked on the right front. He had told the crew, and the crew that the car had a bad vibration. Right now, he is radioed in and told the crew that the car just does not want to turn. As you see it wash up high in 3 and 4. So we would expect for Robert to make an entrance on pit road here on the backstretch momentarily.
Cranfield summary is showing you where everybody is running at this point. And Rusty Wallace now has caught 2nd place, Mark Martin. And the best battle on the racetrack is for the 2nd spot.
Now Jeff Gordon has caught Derek Cope again and has really been working on the last couple of laps. Derek had moved out to about a 5 or 6 car length lead over Gordon. He's in the lead lap right now, but Gordon looks in his mirror and sees Martin and Wallace coming, so he needs to try to get by Derek Cope. I think he's faster right now.
And speaking of a fast race car, the number 90 car of Dick Trickle is keeping up with everybody. Now, he is a lap down in 37th position, but he is even putting heat on 3rd place, Rusty Wallace. He's made up a straightaway just in the last couple laps.
I would guess that the 90 car on that pit stop when he saw him in the pits changed tires. I don't know that, but I would guess that he has fresher tires than some of these other cars.
This is looking back from Rusty's bumper cam, and look at the close. And Trickle's going to try on the outside. He did it.
Rusty just said, "Go ahead, Dick. You're faster than I am right now." He moved over, let him go.
I think Dick didn't realize that the green flag was about to come out. He came out of the pits, and he just came slowly along down front straightaway, and all of a sudden the green flag comes out, and the leaders are there beside him before he knew it.
Derek Cope is staying on the lead lap at the moment. He would certainly like to see a caution at this point so he can encircle the entire racetrack.
He's trying. We saw the back end kick out as it came off the corner. He's trying his best to stay in front of that 24 car.
37 laps have been completed. Jeff Gordon and Mark Martin, Rusty Wallace, Terry Labonte, and Ricky Craven are the top 5 at Bristol Motor Speedway in the Goody's Headache Powder 500. It's NASCAR Winston Cup Racing on ESPN Speed World from Bristol Motor Speedway. The Goody's Headache Powder 500 being brought to you by McDonald's. On the track, in our restaurants, just watch us cook. By the more than 1,400 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto ports. By the all-new Ford Taurus, a look you've never seen from a name you know well. And by Daytona USA, the ultimate motorsports attraction. Well, the leaders working on heavy traffic now here at Bristol at the completion of 48 laps.
Here we see Johnny Benson right in front of our leader, Jeff Gordon. The 24 car is the leader. There's that heavy traffic that Bob was talking about. Rusty Wallace has been back by Dick Trickle, also Derek Cope. There's first Gordon, second is Mark Martin. There's the 3rd place car of Rusty Wallace. Oh, almost a spin there.
Now Benson has just gone 2 laps down. He's in 38th position.
And we see the 29 car of Chad Little slow. The Cartoon Network car very, very slow off the corner.
Letting everybody go around on the inside. Gordon puts a lap on Dave Marcus. 31 cars on the lead lap now as Gordon picks them off. And also puts some daylight between himself and 2nd place Mark Martin because of the traffic. There's 3rd place Wallace.
He got through that traffic very, very good. Jeff Gordon did. That got him a little bit of breathing room.
There we see the right rear quarter on the 95 car flapping. He and the 30 make some contact off four just a moment ago in front of the leader. And Bradbury in the 95 did a good job not to spin. There's 41 of Ricky Craven, one of our dark horses that has a chance tonight. You see him, he's in fifth spot.
Here are Bobby Labonte and Dale Earnhardt racing for the 18th position. Earnhardt has lost a couple of spots in the recent laps, and now this is another one. He goes back to 19th.
Labonte goes by on the outside, so obviously Earnhardt decided to let him go.
And now Ward Burton will try to pass Dale Earnhardt.
Now Dale moves over and tells Ward to go on the outside. He does. Lake Speed will try the same thing.
That's a tough pass, but Earnhardt is giving them the room that they need up there.
Behind Lake Speed is Darrell Waltrip. So it's obvious that Earnhardt is having a struggle here this evening.
Let me tell you something. Charles Atlas had trouble driving around this racetrack.
Let's go to John Kernan.
Dale Earnhardt hasn't said much about the pain he's in, which I'm sure he's probably in a lot of pain out there. The only thing he has talked with crew chief David Smith about is the way the car is handled. Dale has said that the car is good, except that it's tight coming off. So they've talked about it. They will plan to make an air pressure adjustment on their first pit stop. But so far, Dale hasn't said anything about getting out of the car.
Since the restart, since we went back to green flag racing after our first caution, look at the Earnhardt serial. He was 16th on lap 23 and now has fallen back to 20th position and is fighting for that position as Lake Speed is still trying to get around him. Meanwhile, back of that group, here is the leader, Jeff Gordon, and now Mark Martin has also maneuvered through the traffic and is caught back up to Jeff.
Traffic in front of Jeff Gordon there, they're going to scramble to try to stay on the lead lap. They see Gordon coming, and this is when you see trouble a lot of times as they start scrambling, trying to get by that car in front of them. As we continue to watch Earnhardt here. Darrell Waltrip comes up on him.
There we see what Ned's talking about. We know that Bobby Hillin, Jeremy Mayfield, Rick Master are going to run as hard as they can to try and stay in front of Jeff Gordon.
Jeff already trying to lap up to the 30th position where Hillin is running at the moment, as you see there on the Fram field summary. And now the cars that have lost at least one lap. Benson has lost 2, Chad Little 3, and Robert Presley, who's been in and out of the pits, is now 15 laps in the rears.
Well, this is tough for the leader here. Those cars, good race cars, trying to stay in the lead lap. Just hoping to catch a caution. Don't want to be a part of it,
though. There we see Gordon going by the 94. As Presley goes back to pit road. I'm sorry, he didn't go on pit road. He just went down to the inside of the racetrack and let faster cars go by.
Has won 2 of the last 3 NASCAR Winston Cup races here at Bristol. Second and third now becomes close as Rusty comes up on Martin again. And Martin is going to have to maneuver through this traffic also. There are a couple of lap cars, 3 lap cars. 4th place belongs to Terry Labonte. And staying up in 5th position and doing a great job here in the early going is Ricky Craven.
Not too far behind him is Kenny Wallace in that 81 car. Michael Walker, after Kenny got by him, Michael's been able to stay right up with him. Bernie Irvin has caught him.
And Rusty Wallace takes second for Mark Martin.
Boy, in practice this afternoon, Rusty Wallace was very, very good.
still appears to be very, very good. We have a spin.
Jeff Goody here on the front straightaway.
And it made no contact with the inside wall. You see, the car's the right, what is it, the left front tire is flat.
He was running 14th when the spin occurred in turn 4, stopping here on the main straightaway. The second caution of the evening comes out at lap 72.
Okay, with 72 laps, do they make pit stops? They're about halfway through a gas run. I expect they will. Yeah, they will.
Here they come.
All of those on the lead lap will have an opportunity to pit here as Jeff Gordon leads them down, leading Rusty and Mark and Terry and Ricky and Kenny. Here's Jerry Punch.
We would expect to see 4 tires changing. This is the first caution flag of the evening. Gordon getting right side tires. Right behind him, Terry Labonte, teammate. And behind Labonte will be the Rusty Wallace car. Right side tires already on Gordon's DuPont Chevrolet. Let's go to Bill in Jarrett's pit.
4 tire change for Dale Jarrett. They made a track bar adjustment. Right side's already on. The fuel is in. Working on the left. Waiting on the left front. Now they've got a problem. They've got a look up front on Dale Jarrett. Now they come these away. Earnhardt's in to Jarrett. John.
It's a 4-tire change for Dale Earnhardt, also taking a rubber out on the right rear. They swing around to the left side. They made an adjustment on the wedge on the left rear. Earnhardt sitting in, waiting. He's on the backstretch pits. There goes Lloyd Burton. Contact. Oh, he hits a tire. David Pit Road pushing it down. He weaves the car, trying to get the tire off. He finally does as the tire slides up at the base of turn number 3.
Yeah, it's almost up in the concrete, but remains on the asphalt.
I wonder how much damage that could have done to the front end of his car, if any. I believe he's going to come back in and check it out because he's almost to the rear of the pack anyway. I think it'd be smart to do that.
Or is he going to change drivers? Has Mike Wallace got his helmet on? John, Earnhardt's coming back down pit road.
Well, they want to check and make sure that there's no damage to the front end. As I watch Dale pull in, it is bent back just a little bit. Now the crew will go to work and pull out the balance of the nose. And boy, oh boy, they're having a tough time doing that. Mike Wallace still has his headset on. He does not have his helmet on. Dale Earnhardt is down in a way that didn't look to me like it was too severe, just a little bit curled up underneath the nose.
But track position is so important, and Dale Earnhardt does not have track position here as we're getting set to go back to the green flag. And here's why we are under caution. Jeff Bodine looping off of corner number 4, maybe with some help by his brother Brett Bodine. In any case, Jeff spun, flattened the left front tire, and that's why we are under caution after 74 of 500 laps at Bristol Motor Speedway. Track Facts are brought to you by Quaker State, the motor oil that exceeds the highest standards for engine protection. Here's Jerry Punch.
In this era of satellite communication with cellular phones and fax machines, we all realize how easy communication has gotten. Well, that is easy everywhere except Bristol Motor Speedway. Now, here the noise is such a huge factor, it's hard to even talk to someone standing beside you. That's why we all wear these noise-canceling headsets, even among the crews. But sometimes when they're under green flag conditions, you can't even hear with these things on. So you need a little bit of legal assistance. Actually, what you need is a good old-fashioned legal pad. Take a look at what the crew members do. They have what they call a legal assistant right on the legal pad. Add 2 rounds of bite. Increase air pressure 1 pound on the right front. Gas and go. In case the driver doesn't hear you, well, you hold it up in the window. You say, I said go. Folks, you got to be simple when it's this noisy in Bristol, Tennessee. Even sometimes the headsets don't work. Bob?
Back to the basics as far as communication is concerned, and you can imagine what the noise is like here, but the fans love it. This should be a great baseball game tomorrow night on ESPN. The 2 top teams in the National League Central, the Cardinals led by Ron Gant, in the Astrodome taking on Jeff Bagwell in the division-leading Houston Astros. 8 o'clock tomorrow night on ESPN. It's the Sunday night baseball game of the week. Let's take a look at a Fram Field summary here while we are under our second caution of the evening. Jeff Gordon is going to be at the front of the field when they turn him loose once again, but that's not going to happen until another half lap. The field is being formed up in the 2x2 formation.
We saw Dale Jarrett have that problem in the pits with a lug nut.
Now, last night, the slower cars lined up on the outside, did they not?
But they do it in reverse in Busch.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it seems like that the faster cars would want themselves on the inside, but that's not the way it works.
Yeah, they would want themselves there, but that's not the NASCAR rule. And you can see Rusty really got caught out there, and Jeff Gordon is just drifting away.
And once again, Dick Trickle is still working his way back up to the lead lap.
Jeff Gordon putting some distance on these cars. On Rusty Wallace, the second place car, he's number 2 in second place. The 6th car is in third place. Now Rusty, and we see John Andretti in the pits.
He was in 23rd position.
I'm told that Jeremy Mayfield, the RCA car, was black flag.
Flag or something.
Did something wrong. There he is on the inside of the racetrack.
He will heed the black flag, drop down off the banking, and head for his pit on the backstretch. And the word is that he passed the pace car, so that is a stop-and-go penalty. And even that is enough to lose yourself a lap in it.
Oh, yes. There we see Dale Jarrett. The 88, Ricky Rudd, the 10, trying to get by Dallenbach. They do that. Dallenbach in the 15. There's Jeff Burton in the 99, the Exide car.
Wally Dallenbach is a lap down.
It's Ward Burton at 22 that's going by him now. The MBNA and Bobby Labonte.
Ward's in the 18th position. Bobby Labonte is 19th. Musgrave 20th. There's Dale Earnhardt, who's looks like running a little better than he was.
We're seeing more passing now than we did at the beginning of the race. They all got in single file when we started this race, but now they're getting in there and mixing it up a little.
Remember when this track was asphalt as opposed to concrete? Well, it apparently is going back to asphalt. Bruton Smith, the owner of this facility, indicated in a news conference on Thursday a number of changes that would come about, and he said that it could be back to asphalt in as little as a month from now. And one of the incredible things that he mentioned during that news conference was that he was talking to a German firm and considering putting a dome over this place. Little contact there between Dallenbach and Hut Strickland. Can you imagine the domed Bristol Motor Speedway?
That'd be neat.
$25 million expenditure. John Kernan has a report on John Andretti.
John Andretti's crew has pushed his car behind the wall, what we're being told a broken right rear axle. Andretti sitting behind the wall. Of course, we're not expecting John to be back in the 37 car next year. We're expecting Jeremy Mayfield to take over this ride. John was really looking for a good run tonight, but it won't happen. They are behind the wall, and the crew going to work just to try and get him back out on the track as soon as they can.
And Jeff Gordon, the leader of the race, now has caught up to this huge pack of cars that he'll have to be maneuvering through. That's Robert Presley. Presley now goes 18 laps down. About 5 more cars in front of Jeff.
Well, Bobby Hamilton just made a little slip and lost about 4 positions.
Gary Bradbury, the 95 car, and we see that's just passing that one car. Bradbury, for 1 lap following him, has allowed Rusty Wallace to catch him.
Rusty trying to lap Bradbury on the outside in turn number 2. He ripped his bumper off. How about that? Open it up like a can opener.
Oh.
Now Mark Martin trying to get by Presley and Bradbury.
And Bradbury will come to the pits. I'm sure he was black flag. If not, he was told that, hey, you got something hanging out back there. You need to come in and get it off.
It's nothing but a piece of plexiglass, fiberglass. They knock it off and it's okay, go. That's it, go. And see, even that lost a lap for Bradbury.
And Rusty Wallace now begins to challenge Jeff Gordon for the lead.
Jeff Bodine and Jimmy Spencer got together coming off of turn 4. Almost had a spin, but it didn't happen. Took my breath for a minute.
We're approaching the first 100 lap mark here at Bristol. And Jeff Gordon the leader. However, Rusty Wallace is close in second. And the 29 car of Chad Little has a flat left front.
Look at the brakes. How hot the brake rotor was on that 29 car. Wow.
So Little, who is pitted on the backstretch, will be going in to get that situation corrected. And it's not easy to steer these things with a flat left front, and Rusty Wallace has taken the lead at lap 100. An incredible short track racer is Rusty Wallace. In the last 31 short track races, he has an average finish of 3.97. Jimmy Spencer and Jeff Bodine are still going at it out there.
Well, they've been doing a little bit of bumping here, short track racing, Bob. Both of them were very good at short track racing, but they've almost won at least twice.
Well, Spencer is on the lead lap, and Jeff Bodine is 2 laps down. So this is not a battle for position, but they are working on each other and bumping on each other quite a bit.
You see, Spencer, I don't think Jimmy changed as many tires. He might have just changed 2 or no tires, because he went from about 20th spot up to 4th. So he's probably having some trouble sliding up the racetrack because he just isn't getting the grip that the other fellows are that did change 4 tires on those last round pit stops.
But he did get, and you're going to hear this phrase more than once tonight, good track position, and that's put him in the 5th position. We understand that he took on 2 tires. Up front, Jeff Gordon begins to challenge now Rusty Wallace and try to move back to the front as Rusty puts a lap on the 94 car driven tonight by Bobby Hiller. 104 laps have been completed. It's Rusty Wallace, Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin, Terry Labonte, and Jimmy Spencer, the top 5 at Bristol Motor Speedway. The Goody's Headache Powder 500 at Bristol Motor Speedway. This happened just a few moments ago, and Pablo Picasso Parsons will go to the telestrator here.
We see Gary Bradbury's rear bumper right here. He's already had some damage to it in this area right here. He goes down in the corner. And Rusty Wallace's left front is going to hit that. And when he backs off and the car goes forward, it just simply jerks the rear bumper off. As it comes off the corner, bam, away it goes. It was already loose, and Rusty made slight contact with it, and away it goes.
But Gary came in, and the crew ripped it off, and he's back out there. Only driver to lead at least 1 lap in all 5 short track races this year is Rusty Wallace, the leader of the race. A lot of traffic up ahead, however. Oh, Dollenbach.
Almost spun out. How in the world he kept that thing down on the flat and didn't spin? I don't know. Good job for him.
Machine, some damage to the rear of that car.
23rd position.
Here we go. There we see Jeremy Mayfield. Oh,
whoa!
Chain reaction, and look at leg speed. He does do a great job in saving that thing.
Darrell Waltrip also got rear-ended in that chain reaction. But Lake is okay. Did lose a lap, however, slips back to 25th position.
And Rusty Wallace is still following Brett Bodine. Brett in the Lowe's machine, number 11. Ted Musgrave, all these cars, once again, wanting desperately to stay in the lead lap. But there goes Rusty. There goes Jeff Gordon. Now Ted Musgrave becomes the next victim. Why it's so important, if you just started watching these races, that the caution flag, slowdown period was to happen. The pace car would pick up the leader, Rusty Wallace, and make him go slow. All the cars directly in front of him would go around, catch up the tail end of the field. In other words, they could make up a half mile. There, a little bit of contact between 16 and Rusty Wallace as Rusty goes by.
Wallace has lapped up to 22nd position now. The 21st runner right now is Darrell Waltrip. He will be the next to go down a lap if Rusty can do so.
This is looking at the rear bumper of Rusty Wallace's Miller Ford.
Well, Mark Martin is caught up in that heavy traffic back there. He's just right on his back bumper is Terry Labonte there. They come off from turn 4, but you can see all of that traffic that he's got to go through. And sometimes he doesn't get the advantage that the leader gets as far as the attention of the flag. They say, okay, the leader's coming up and let it by, but then if you run back there second, third, fourth place, sometimes they don't move out of the way quite as easy to lose.
There's the 5th place car of Jimmy Spencer, who got great track position on the first series of pit stops under caution. He started 15th and is currently up in the 5th position. He has risen from 21st to 13th in the point standings since Dover.
Ricky Craven and Ernie Irvin, that's 6th and 7th.
Dale Jarrett running 8th.
And Michael Walker, the Simcoe car, running 9th. Jeff go 9. Made some contact, spun earlier. Lost a couple of laps.
Michael Waltrip, one of John Kernan's dark horses for the evening, along with Ricky Craven and Kenny Wallace. Believe it or not, we've got a crash.
Jim Sauter and the 18 car of Bobby Labonte spun in unison down the backstretch, and we see Sauter has some pretty significant damage to the right front of his car.
Third caution of the evening comes out on lap 129. Crinkled front end of the Coors Light Pontiac.
This is beautiful. She's going to drag in the ground.
Yep. Bobby Labonte stayed in the lead lap. Darrell Waltrip has just gone a lap down. There you can see that damage.
Right front tire is also flat on the car.
And now we see pit stops by those running up front. Those on the lead lap coming in. Here's Bill Weber.
Jimmy Spencer is in. He's got the last pit stall on the front stretch. 2 tires earlier. This is expected to be 4. Big chassis adjustment on the left side. Now a wreck here outside of turn 4 under caution. Jerry punches in Jeff Gordon's pit.
No chassis adjustment so far. Already they've changed right side tires. Now working on the left side. Gordon trying to beat Rusty Wallace under the pit. He's pitting 2 stalls in front of Rusty. Rusty is out of the way, and Rusty will beat Gordon out of the pits. Let's go back to Kernan.
Dale Earnhardt still complaining that the car is tight in the center and off the turns. It'll be a 4-tire change. They've already made the chassis adjustment on the left rear. They've also made air pressure adjustments. And they're swinging around now to the left side as everybody who's pitted on the front stretch swings by. Earnhardt still sitting in here. Lug nuts going on. Waiting. Problem with the weather. They're getting lug nuts on. The lug nuts falling off. Earnhardt's down and away.
Yeah, he also had some kind of problem on the right front, John. I don't know exactly what it was. They might have been jerking the rubber out of the right front. It looked like they had a pair of snips over there to snip a wire that holds the rubber in the right front.
And they were talking earlier about the car being tight. And that's one of the things that they would do to fix that.
Here's why we're under caution. There you can see the contact by Jim Sauter on the inside backstretch wall, along with Bobby Labonte. Now, Bill Weber referred to a crash in turn 4 while the pit stops were being made. That was Rick Mast.
I wonder where that damage to the right front.
Now,
Well, it sounded like he had a tire went flat just before he started to spin. But he's still dragging metal around.
Rick Mast did have contact with another car in turn 4 while the caution was out. Minor damage to that car. We'll take another break and be back with more live coverage as Mike Wallace still awaits his shot in the Dale Earnhardt car. We're at Bristol Motor Speedway in the northeast mountains of Tennessee, and the Goody's Headache Powder 500 We're under caution, our third of the evening. Here's the Napa Field summary showing you that not a great deal of positions changed during the pit stops. Terry Labonte moved up to third. Jimmy Spencer was back to sixth.
Ernie Irvin lost a couple of positions. He got boxed in. The car in front of him, and noticed when he was trying to come out, he couldn't get out because he was boxed in. Cost him a position or two.
19 cars are on the lead lap. Now 31 through 39, and Jerry is with Derek Cope, who's behind the wall.
Derek, a short evening so far. I look like you're just about whipped. What happened to the car?
Well, I think the rear end gear, we had a problem with it, starting to burn the rear end gear up. But, you know, it's really a bad thing because, you know, we had a good race car tonight. I'll tell you what, you know, I got lapped down and trying to avoid a wreck. They're trying to be too cautious. But, you know, the Badcock Pilot Ford's running good. If we can get back out, we'll just, you know, just try to get some points.
Derek, let me ask you, you're in great physical shape and look like you're about to give up here. How does a Dale Earnhardt stay on a track like this with broken bones?
Well, I mean, you just got to get into a rhythm. You know, it's hot inside these cars, you know, and I was working really hard trying to stay up in the thing, trying to get my lap back. But if he, you know, he's so good, he just sits back in the seat and relaxes. So he'll be fine. You watch.
Hey, by the way, they're not going to give up. They're going to try to get this car fixed and get back out there. We'll let you go.
We got a lot of folks here from Pilot and Badcock here, so we got to get back out there.
Hey, best of luck to you, DC. Derek Cope behind the wall trying to fix the rear end gearing in his Ford.
Meanwhile, at lap 137, the green flag comes out. We are back to racing with Rusty Wallace at the head of the field with Jeff Gordon second, then Terry Labonte, Mark Martin, and Ricky Rudd.
And Ricky Rudd was 13th before the caution flag changed 2 tires and gained that much track position.
Well, we got more cars that are lapped down now than we had before on restart, so it's going to make it a lot more tedious for a lot of these guys trying to get around on that outside.
You see Jimmy Spencer there in the 23 car. Now this time he changed to 4 tires, but that last pit stop, getting that track position, paid off so well for him because right now he is up in the thick of the battle.
And he just passed Ted Musgrave on the outside of the track. Now Terry Labonte goes to the inside of Bobby Hillin, but Hillin is not on the same lap. Ricky Craven trying to also get around Ted Musgrave on the outside. There's third place Terry Labonte, the points leader, coming into this race.
Those guys who are down on the inside being lapped really have to let off going into the turns. There's a lot of give on a track like this and let those cars go by on the outside, and everybody's doing a great job.
Good bumper cam shot from Rusty Wallace, looking back to Jeff Gordon.
Tell you one thing, if Rusty could see this camera right now, he'd be scared to death. I mean, Jeff Gordon is really working on the back bumper of that Miller Ford.
Jimmy Spencer just went around Ricky Rudd. Took over the 5th position.
Jeff Gordon, who we're looking at, is the best short track racer, at least in the first half of the 1996 short track season. Had finishes of first, second, and third, not in that particular order, but certainly is the man who accumulated the most points during the short track season.
You see Terry Labonte in the 5 car is creeping closer and closer to those front 2 cars.
He is getting on. He hasn't led yet tonight, so he hasn't got that 5 lowest points.
We've had 3 leaders, Gordon Wallace and Mark Martin. Mark led the first 9 laps. Then Jeff took over. Rusty right now has led 46.
Michael Walton's Zitco car.
He's running 10th. And now from Kenny Schrader's roof cam. Trying to work to the inside of Ward Burton. This is the battle for 14th position. Schrader has it. 14, 15, 16 right there, and 17.
We reported, I think, that Dale Earnhardt had taken the rubber out of the right front. Well, on a commercial break, John Kernan, what exactly did they do to the 3 car?
It was
basically a wedge adjustment in the left rear, 4-tire change, and air pressure adjustment on both the right and the left side tires. At the last moment, Dale changed his mind. You alertly pick up that one of the crewmen had a pair of pliers. They weren't planning on taking out the rubber in the right front, but Dale changed his mind at the last minute. But right now, it looks like that air pressure adjustment, wedge adjustment, has turned the trick, because Earnhardt looks really good out there.
Yeah, he does. He's up to 12th place and running much better than he was before the pit stop.
That's the highest he's been all night, isn't it?
Ricky Craven, Dale Jarrett, and Ernie Irvan are also in a good battle here, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Next week, when we go to Darlington, South Carolina, Dale Jarrett will be eligible for $1 million if he wins the race and takes home the Winston Million. Hasn't been done since '85. Pressure, huh?
$1 million.
Wow.
They went down there and tested the roll cage did with the AJ car this week. Tested for 3 days. Getting ready for it.
We going to party Ned if he wins $1 million?
Might as well. Sure. Although I don't get any of it.
Ricky Craven, the 41 car ran so well earlier in the season, and then he goes to Talladega, is involved in that terrible crash, and has had trouble getting back on track since then. But looks like he is well on his way.
As a matter of fact, Benny, before the crash, his average finish was 9.5. Since the crash at Talladega, his average finish has been 25.3.
I didn't know it was that bad, but and Ernie tries to get under Dale, can't quite make it. Right now, Craven seems to be holding up both Jarrett and the 28 car of Ernie Irvan. And once again, this is what I was talking about at the very top of the show. Patience, patience, patience.
Although you've been out there for what seems to be an eternity, we still have 344 laps to go in this race, and you just cannot be too fast doing something that, you know, may cost you.
Let's see if we can find our leader. There he is, Rusty Wallace, and he's put about 15-20 car lengths on Jeff Gordon.
So Rusty Wallace continues the lead here with 157 of the 500 laps completed during the Goody's Headache Powder 500. Rusty Wallace in the Miller Ford Car 2 leads the Goody's Headache Powder 500 at Bristol Motor Speedway as we are 165 laps in. There's second place Jeff Gordon as Rusty passes the number 8 car of Hut Strickland and puts him 2 laps down. Make that 3 laps down now, 29th.
Rick Mast there, he is 28 laps down. We mentioned earlier that he got in a little entangled, just turned a caution flag there a little while ago.
Jerry Punch has a report on Rusty Wallace.
Guys, Robin Pemberton keeps telling his driver, Rusty Wallace, Rusty, save the tires. Remember, nice and smooth, rhythm, and we got problems in turn 1.
Big crash. Sterling Marlin,
Smoke's clear.
Check. Jeff Burton all involved. Everybody else moving away. Looks like Jeff Burton may be the worst hurt, although Marlin and Nemechek are still sitting there.
Jeff Bodine was involved. Bobby Labonte, I don't know if he hit anything, but he drove away from
the rear, left rear. He pushed the fuel cell up to the windshield.
That's Lynn Bodine, the spotter for Nemechek.
Are we driving it around? 10-4.
Jeff Bias.
Okay, guys, let's be ready here. I need a damn frame machine. Son of a bitch.
Need a frame machine.
I'm sorry about that, man. I don't know what the hell happened to him.
All right, let's take a look at the replays. That was coming off turn 4.
Yeah, and Nemechek was coming up a little bit. Michael Walter had a run on him coming off of there and touched him just a little bit. And Michael gets by on the inside, but the others didn't.
The leaders are in. Here's Jerry.
Well, they pitted just 40 laps ago in lap 129, but new tires are that critical here at Bristol Motor Speedway, so all four will get all four fresh tires. You see Rusty Wallace in, Jeff Gordon in, Terry Labonte, all the cars in the lead lap. Jimmy Spencer comes flying down pit road. Here is Mark Martin already down and away, and the left side tire is now going on the 24 car, and Rusty is out. He made a 4-tire change, and now a little bit of a problem with the left rear with the 24 car. The 23 car is already going through, the 5 car is in, and now finally 24 cars away. Earnhardt is in and John Vernon is there.
It's a 4-tire change. You see the crewman working on the grill on Dale Earnhardt's car. The water temperature up to 230 degrees. Remember, the first pit stop, he pushed that tire off, ran into it, bent the grill back a little bit. Maybe it's upset the airflow just a little bit. They're making sure they get the grill as clean as they can. They finish their work, and Earnhardt is away. Meanwhile, Ward Burton getting a 4-tire change. Front sides go on, and he heads down pit road.
Terry Labonte had to back up because of all the congestion to get out of his pit. Here's a replay of that.
But see, he knows he can't go forward. When he puts it in reverse, now he had to stop for just a second. That allowed Jeff Gordon to get out in front of him.
And Ernie Irvin had to do exactly the same thing, so he lost a couple of positions, same as he did a while ago.
Jimmy Spencer was the first to complete his pit stop. He only took on right side tires at the top of your screen coming out.
He's coming out of the pits as Michael Waltrip is coming in the pits, and also Kenny Wallace.
Michael Waltrip and Mark Martin almost got together. And I think the 21 cars only changed his right side tires as well.
And so Jimmy Spencer is going to be the leader of the race when we go back to competition. It's his first lead since Richmond earlier this year. Fourth caution of the evening here at Bristol Motor Speedway in the Goody's Headache Powder 500. A radical change here on the half mile from where we were last week. 2 miles of Michigan International Speedway. Let's go back to last Sunday and take a look at the highlights.
Here comes Speed Racer. He's a demon on wheels. He's a demon and he's gonna be chasing after someone. He's getting at you, so you better live the life. He's busy revving up the power in my fight. And when the odds are against him, stick with word. You can bet your life, Speed Racer. We'll see you.
Jarrett picking up his 8th career NASCAR Winston Cup win at Michigan last week. Jerry Punch is with Joe Nemechek.
Joe, a wild one up there. What happened? How'd it start?
Well, Michael was trying to get by me, and if he could have waited another straightaway, I would have let him go. Just got a little impatient there, but hey, the Burger King crew, we've been trying hard this year. We've had some good runs going. It's unfortunate this happens, but we got the frame machine. We're going to get her fixed.
Hey, they do have a frame machine right behind this Chevrolet that they've gone and going to bring it out here and try to fix this car. Gallant effort going on by Joe Nemechek and the Burger King crew.
Green flag comes back out, and Jimmy Spencer is the leader of the race. Let's show you the AutoZone off-track interval results. Comparing Rusty Wallace and Jimmy Spencer.
And Rusty Wallace, the leader of the race, spent 31.0 seconds, and Jimmy Spencer 22.3. Jimmy Spencer changed 2 tires. Rusty changed 4.
And you can see how that related to track position because Spencer is the leader of the race. Rusty Wallace went to 3rd, Gordon back to 4th, Labonte 5th, Martin moved up 2, and Spencer moved up 4.
But Mark Martin's already lost those 2 spots back to, well, actually, I guess he's running 5th right now. 21 car Michael Waltrip is 6th. There we see Spencer, 2 lap cars in Rusty, another lap car, and the Hendrick cars, Jeff Gordon and Terry Labonte.
Bill Weber is with Jeff Bodine.
Wallace QVC Ford is a mess behind him. Jeff, what happened?
Well, I wish I knew. I got behind, got turned around on the front straightaway. This typical racing here is close, fast, tight. Got bumped, turned around. Once you get behind here, you're in trouble. We were trying to just stay out of trouble. I was letting the lead cars go by, just kind of follow them, and we made some adjustments. The car was really, really good. I mean, it was awesome, and I was just riding, and I'm not sure what happened going into turn one. My spotter yelled, but it was way too late, of course. It happened so quick. I slowed up. I missed the guy in front of me until the guy behind me hit me, knocked me into him. I hit the wall really hard. I don't know if they can fix it. Maybe we can. We get out and get some points, but I'm okay. I'm Mom, Dad. Sorry we didn't do better tonight.
That is a typical experience at Bristol.
Sterling Marlin was involved in the crash. He lost a lap. He's back in 23rd. Jeff Burton behind the wall. Kenny Schrader also has some nose damage. He, however, remained on the lead lap.
See Rusty Wallace got under the 9 car of Lake Speed. Got Lake out of the groove. We see all these cars going by Lake still losing positions.
He's 1 lap down in 19th position.
And Jimmy Spencer running a totally different line around the racetrack than is the 2 car of Rusty Wallace. We'll see how that, look how high that Jimmy Spencer is running and how low that Rusty Wallace is running.
Now Wallace moving to the inside of Ted Musgrave, and Musgrave giving him a line. Now we are on board Rusty Wallace's car, and you can see the difference in the lines that are being used as Spencer will go almost all the way to the top of the racetrack while Rusty stays right on that yellow line.
Yeah, Spencer's being the corner, which is, if you got a race car that'll work that way, you can free it up and really get a shot down off the turn. Sometimes it can help you in traffic as well. But Rusty Wallace is catching him, so Rusty's line is working better for him.
Definitely catching him.
But Rusty Wallace changed 4 tires. Jimmy Spencer only changed 2. Although Rusty is going a much shorter distance around this racetrack than is Jimmy Spencer.
It's just a matter of time until Rusty takes the lead here. He's going to do it this lap, I believe. They cross the line, and Spencer with a nose advantage. However, as they go into one, Rusty does regain the lead again.
Meanwhile, Jeff Gordon, the 3rd place car, is right now hung up behind the 98 of Jeremy Mayfield. There we see Jeremy. There's 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Gordon, Labonte, Mark Martin.
Our Napa Field summary shows you where everyone is running, and the parenthesis numbers indicate where they started.
You see there's 17 cars on the lead lap.
Mark Martin getting around Jeremy Mayfield. Ricky Rudd and Ernie Irvin are back in the 9th and 10th positions. Ernie trying to take the position away, got the left side tires down on the apron.
Got caught behind Kenny Wallace. He's pitting right behind Kenny, and got caught behind him twice on the last 2 caution flags, and had to back up, as we saw Terry Labonte have to do, and it really cost Ernie, so it's cost him positions and track position.
Approaching the 200 lap mark of this 500 lapper at Bristol Motor Speedway. It's Rusty Wallace, Jimmy Spencer, Jeff Gordon, Terry Labonte, and Mark Martin. Rusty Wallace leads the Goody's Headache Powder 500, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th running there together. And another battle back of them, but this is the best one. It's Spencer, Jeff Gordon, and Terry Labonte, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Oh, Spencer wiggled a little there in the 2nd turn, and Jeff didn't take advantage.
Keeps the pressure on. Spencer now has moved down a little bit, and it looks like going into the turns there, so to protect that position.
Mark Martin is keeping a safe distance behind those three guys.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. And these three are catching some slower cars now, coming up on Presley and Mast and others. There's Mark Martin running all by himself back in fifth.
Some patience here, and they do.
Mark Martin now catches up to second, third, and fourth as they have to slow because of the traffic.
We see the top 10 cars on the left side of your screen there, scoring pylon. Dale Earnhardt right now in the 3 car. Morgan Shepherd is 11th in 75, and 12th is Dale Earnhardt.
He's took away second.
Yep, second spot.
Rick Mast there running without a foot on the car. Mast announced here that he's going to be driving for the Butch Mock team in 1997, the 75 Remington car. So that part of the silly season is over. We know where Rick Mast is going to go for next year.
And as a matter of fact, Richard Jackson, the 1 car, is Hooters has not told them they're coming back, so they're actively seeking out a sponsor right now.
Dale Earnhardt in the wall.
He is slow up in 3 and 4 is Earnhardt.
Losing positions.
He's made some contact with the right rear.
I think the right front's pushed in a little bit too, maybe. Looks like for this one.
And we can see where the fender is rubbing the tire. Saw some smoke down in the corner.
So Dale Earnhardt loses positions here. Everybody going around him. The car off pace.
That looks like the right front is maybe a little bit of damage there, but this could be costly for him in the point situation.
He's about to get lapped by Rusty Wallace, who's coming in quickly. Earnhardt has fallen back to 17th, the last car on the lead lap, and now he goes a lap down.
Well, he had to ride careful there for a few laps to check to see if the tire was rubbing the fender.
So he lost 5 spots. He was 12th, now he's 17th, and more importantly, he is a lap down. Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Spencer also passed by Dale Earnhardt. 215 laps are completed here at Bristol Motor Speedway. We'll take a break and be right back with more. Stay with us. Rusty Wallace continues to lead the Goody's Headache Powder 500, and tune in tomorrow for ESPN's continuing coverage of the Bank of Boston Senior Classic. That's at 2:30 Eastern Time tomorrow afternoon. Tom Wargo is at the front of the field in that one, BP.
And Ray Floyd not far back, is he?
That's right. He's in second position, so you can see how it all turns out tomorrow at 2:30. Now, Dale Earnhardt and Lake Speed got together a few laps ago, and it's resulted in some damage to Dale Earnhardt's car. John Kernan.
Well, Bob, the crew doesn't seem to think that the damage is too severe. You saw Earnhardt slow down. That was a precautionary measure to make sure that there wasn't a tire that was cut that might go down and send him into the wall. So they went around a few laps at slower speed just to make sure. The spotter checked everything around, said, no, there's no tire rub. And David Smith, Bobby Hutchins asked Dale questions about the car and what it was doing and how it was reacting. And he answered everything positively. So apparently, no serious damage to the 3 car.
From Kenny Schrader's onboard camera, we can get an idea of what happened between these two guys, Lake Speed and Dale Earnhardt, that resulted in all of this, and we'll get to it in just a moment. They continue to run wheel to wheel out there, and now Lake Speed and Bobby Hamilton go to the inside. Now let's take a look at what happened from Schrader's perspective.
I see Lake Speed.
Oh, there's the contact.
Earnhardt comes off the wall, keeps the car going in a straight line, but we can see the concrete dust on both the right front and the right rear. There he is now. He's caught on the outside.
They're all the way back to 23rd now, Benny.
And to see Derek Cope, then there comes the leader, Rusty Wallace, about to put Dale Earnhardt down the second lap. Brent Bodine and Kenny Schrader.
Schrader's on the lead lap in 13th. Brett Bodine is a lap down in 19th. There's the damage on Ken Schrader's car, and that happened in that multi-car tangle down here in turn 1. That also involves Sterling Marlin, Jeff Burton, and others. There is Sterling Marlin, and his car was damaged also in that incident. There you can see the damage on the left rear, and Rusty trying to put him
another lap down. That would make him 2 laps down. He lost a lap when he spun in that, got involved in that wreck.
Sterling Marlin came out 5th in the first half of the 1996 short track season, 4 races. Finished second here in 1991 in this race. We are approaching the halfway point. Just 17 more laps now remain until the halfway point. Sterling Marlin came into this race 9th in the points. He was 2nd in the points at this time last year. Dropping back now. Come through the frame. Once again is the leader, Rusty Wallace. And check on Dale Jarrett. How he's doing. He's in 5th spot.
And he's passed a lot of race cars since the caution. Mark Martin.
You know, I had forgotten that Dale led the most laps in this race last year.
The race of Terry Labonte?
Yep.
I had forgotten that as well. But you see, he's moving away from Mark Martin. But remember, Mark Martin only changed 2 tires on that last pit stop. Went for get track position and seems to be struggling on the racetrack right now, but meanwhile Jarrett isn't struggling. Started 9th. He's currently in 5th spot after 236 laps.
That's since the restart, since our most recent caution. Yeah. So Dale Jarrett has finished in the top 5 only 9 times on a short track. He almost won the race last night, the Busch Grand National race that Jeff Fuller won. But Dale made a last-ditch, bold, brilliant move down in turn number 3. He could have taken out Fuller, but he didn't. He finished second. John Kernan has more. Sorry, Bill Weber.
Yeah, Bob, I just wanted, I was thinking earlier, remember Dale Jarrett had a pretty good qualifying run here for this race in the spring, but lost it and then crashed his car after he took the checkered flag. He put it in the wall at the end of the pit stretch. They had to go to a backup car. He started at the back of the field, and as we were talking about, in typical DJ fashion, marched his way right back to the front and finished 6th. This time he qualified 9th, started a lot closer to the front, and is showcasing some of his short track abilities here again tonight.
Jarrett running in 5th position.
Certainly been a surprise to me, Bob. Of course, like most of these drivers, got his start on short track. You think that their first success would come on short tracks, but that has not been the case with him.
There are 257 laps to go, so it's a Heinz 57 field summary for you. Ricky Craven ran in the top 5 for quite a while. He's back in 10th spot, but still hanging on.
Leader still, Rusty Wallace of Miller Ford.
Again, the numbers in parentheses are the positions that they started. 15
cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars on the lead lap. 15
Earnhardt started 23rd and is running 23rd, 2 laps down.
Man, he's keeping that car on the bottom of the racetrack, isn't he?
Yep. Working great.
Rusty Wallace has won 5 times at this racetrack, and there's one of the crew members saying, "Hi, Graham, love you." Back in just a moment with more from Bristol Motor Speedway. The Goody's Headache Powders 500 on ESPN Speed World, and it's being brought to you by Quaker State, the motor oil that exceeds the highest standards for engine protection. By AC Delco Automotive Parts. AC Delco, it's like buying time. And by Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR. We have reached the halfway point. In fact, we are 4 laps past the halfway point, and Rusty Wallace is still at the front.
That means he picked up that $10,000 award from Gatorade near the halfway point.
Jim Sauter showing a little bit of damage there in the 42 car, and relief for Kyle Petty. The whole front end, as a matter of fact, is missing. He's back in 35th position, 55 laps down. Let's take a look at the top 5 in points and where they are running in this race. Terry Labonte is now 4th after starting 3rd. Jeff Gordon is staying in 2nd. Dale Earnhardt started 23rd, has dropped to 24th. Dale Jarrett from 9th to 5th, and Mark Martin from the pole to 6th position.
There are your 3rd, 4th, and 5th place cars. Jimmy Spencer in 3rd, Terry Labonte is 4th, Dale Jarrett is 5th in heavy traffic.
That's Chad Little in the 29 car. Bobby Hillin in the 94 car. And Earnhardt another lap down to these fellas. I guess that's 3 laps down he is down to them, yes.
Kenny Schrader also just went a lap down in 14th position, so now just 13 cars remain on the lead lap.
Yeah, while we're on the break, Rusty Wallace is going to lap on his younger brother, Kenny Wallace. Kenny's running in 15th position. So now just 13 cars on the lead lap.
And Jimmy Spencer has used some great pit strategy. Changed 2 tires earlier on. Then he changed 4 the next stop. This stop only changed 2 tires. And he's hanging in there, running some good race cars. Still in 3rd place.
Jimmy Spencer has only 1 finish lower than 12th in the last 4 races. So this team and driver have really come on here in the recent events.
They're about 3 1/10 seconds behind Rusty Wallace. They were up to 5 seconds behind. Then Rusty got into all that heavy traffic, and they caught up to him. And this time, the others back there got through the traffic easier than Rusty did.
Labonte and Jarrett trying to get around Jimmy Spencer. He opens the door there in the 2nd turn, and Labonte takes advantage. Now Dale Jarrett tries, and he will in the 3rd turn.
Spencer goes from 3rd to 5th on that lap.
Car of Jim Sauter, rear bumper. And Jarrett kicks out the back end a little bit as he comes off the corner.
Well, I'm looking the other way. I didn't see that. Exciting.
Johnny Benson going in the pits on the back stretch.
I don't think we mentioned that Derek Cope is back in the race after spending about 39 laps in the pit area behind the wall. Short track, and I think you could label this as a short car.
It has no hood on it. You see the air cleaner, the silver thing right in the center of the air filter.
Brett Bodine and Ricky Craven. Craven is on the lead lap, 12th position. Brett is not on the lead lap. He's a lap down in 20th.
Joe Nemechek said he had a frame machine working on his car. Well, he must have fixed it because he just put it back on the racetrack a couple of laps ago.
Bill Webb Weber has a report on Ricky Craven.
Yeah, the handle on that 41 Chevrolet has really gone away. They were very optimistic at the start of the race. Now it's been the 28 car goes around, caution is out.
It's Ernie Irvan who has spun up in turn number 4. Rick Mast was involved in his second accident of the evening. There goes the Hooters Ford limping to the pits.
And we can see the radiator is laid back on the engine, is broken. All the water's going out of the car. Debris flying off the Hooters Pontiac. Not a good scene for Rick Mast.
Major problems, for sure.
And Ernie Irvan also going very slowly down on the main straightaway.
The
here.
left rear of that Haviland Ford and the left side, I think the left front tire is flat on it, and the left rear quarter panel is really bashed in on it.
He was running in 11th position when that happened, and now we see the pit stops occurring as Ernie takes the car behind the wall. Here's Bill Weber.
Jimmy Spencer is in. Again, he's got the first stall on pit road right out of turn 4. Right side tires, lots of fuel, cleaning the windshield. It'll be a 4th tire change for Spencer. This is a big break for Ricky Craven. Rusty Wallace is also on pit road. Jerry Pond.
Rusty last pitted 100 laps ago, lap 169. They've already changed right side tires. They have trouble getting fuel in the car. Second can of fuel now in the car. Gordon getting that tires. Rusty off the deck. He speeds away. Dale Jarrett beats Rusty Wallace. Then Gordon. Let's go in the back pits.
Ward Burton has moved his way into the top 10 with his steady run tonight. He's now in the middle of a 4-tire change. So far, no chassis adjustment. The wheel swing around to the left side. Jack goes up. The gas is full. Tires come off. Back on now. They get him lined up, and there goes the air gun. Ward runs the engine and takes off, and Ward is away. Dale Earnhardt is in, and he has also had a problem with the toe end. That's why he's been running a lot slower laps, so they went ahead and pitted because the penalty was tail end of the longest line. Well, now they're going to lose another lap on pit road, but they're going to go ahead and fix the toe end, guys.
Here is a replay of the crash involving Ernie Irvan. Also, Chad Little was involved, and Dick Trickle was involved also.
Dick Trickle slowed down. It looked like Rick Mast came in there and hit him. That's how he got involved.
29 car looked like it spun around and hadn't hit anything, and Mast ran in the back of the 29. But how Ernie spun, I don't know.
It's our 5th caution period of the evening. It comes with 270 laps completed.
If it hadn't got loose, if it hadn't broke traction, if I hadn't overcorrected, it wouldn't cause such a reaction. If we had equal lines of time, if the motor hadn't expired, we'd change suspension, we'd have paid more attention to the weather. Maybe it was the moon. If we hadn't got caught up in traffic in the turn, well, I do believe could have won that one. Could have won that one. Well, I do believe, yeah.
Those last few shots, of course, were last year's finish when Terry Labonte slid across the start-finish line sideways and won the race. The music from Lonnie Hillard, who has a great racing CD out. Well, another guy who could have won that, Ernie Irvan. He's with Jerry Punch.
And Ernie, you climbed out of the Texaco Ford. What happened out there?
Well, you know, the lap cars are, they're trying to make as many laps as they can. And Chad Little got into me on the way off of turn 2, and I went to go by him going into 3, and I guess I didn't give him enough room.
How bad is the car hurt, Ern?
Well, it's pretty bad, but we're going to try to get it fixed.
Ernie Irvan was running in 11th spot. He is currently 7th in the point standings. Let's check it over with John Kernan.
Well, Jerry, Dale Earnhardt fired the engine, and now he sits here on pit road. What they've had to do is replace the fan on the radiator, the electric fan, to help blow some air through there to cool it down. They're now filling up the radiator with water. They've adjusted the toe on that right front. And they've also, now they're checking the toe on the left side tires because they were under the car down around the track bar doing some work trying to get the rear end fixed, because when he had contact with the wall, it slightly moved the rear end over, and that would make this car a handful to handle. But they've sat here on pit road trying to get everything fixed. You now see the fan coming out that they will get on as they still continue to put water into Earnhardt's radiator.
Unbelievable. The fitting they used to put water in radiator with is leaking. And to replace that, see?
Yep.
The little deal is just a valve, and it's leaking. I had that happen to me in Michigan one time. And the only thing they can do is just take it off. Look at it.
It's not going to be a good finish for Dale Earnhardt. He's right now in 28th and still sitting there as the green flag comes out. The leader of the race is Dale Jarrett. Now, if points were awarded right now, Dale Earnhardt would slip to 4th in the point standings, and Dale Jarrett would be in 2nd, 117 points behind Terry Labonte. How about that? There would be the top 5 if points were awarded right now.
I think we better give a great call to the Dale Jarrett pit crew. Todd Perry and those guys, a great pit stop.
Yeah, they did. It was under 19 seconds. Came out running first.
Jeff Gordon second, closely pursued by Rusty Wallace, who has led the most laps here tonight. He's led 149 laps so far. Gordon has led 90, Spencer 21, Jarrett 10, and Martin 9. Dale Earnhardt is still on pit road. Still in the car, though. Not seeking relief from Mike Wallace.
That surprised me, because I really felt like now would be a perfect time for Earnhardt to step out of that Goodrich Chevrolet and let Mike Wallace finish it.
Well, looks like there's some conversation going on in the Robert Yates area. Everybody huddled together down there. Now Jeff Gordon is really putting the pressure on Jarrett.
He gets right up on his bumper, and Rusty Wallace is coming there as well.
Earnhardt goes back in the race. 81 and 75 are getting black flag for passing on the wrong side, coming back to green. Boy, these first 3 cars are just like they're tied with a string, huh?
Yeah, I think Jeff Gordon maybe is a little bit faster than Dale Jarrett, but that doesn't always mean you get by. It looks like Rusty Wallace is going to get by Gordon.
Yes, he did. Rusty takes second. Now Terry Labonte closes in on Jeff.
Boy, Rusty Wallace has a great race car tonight.
He really does.
Terry Labonte, when he won the championship in 1984, only won 2 races that year, and this race was one of them. Rusty putting the pressure on Jarrett now. May be ready to make a move. Nope. Jarrett protects the position.
Oh, gets a little bit loose. That might give Rusty the opportunity. Here he dives alongside. Yep, takes his spot away.
Now Jeff Gordon will try to come along too, and he will. Let's see if Labonte will put Jarrett back to 4th.
He does. First to 4th. Half a lap.
Just that quickly.
Just a little bit of a slip. Got the car just a little bit loose and allowed the car to get under it.
There in your front 4 cars, Jimmy Spencer is 5th. He's about 20 car lengths back. Mark Martin is 6th. Ricky Rudd is 7th. Gordon Burton is 8th. There they are. See him coming off the turn 4. Here comes the leaders from the town.
We're going to give you a field summary and let you find out where your favorite driver may be running. Once again, the numbers at Princeton on the right is where the driver started, like Ricky Rudd in 7th spot, started 13th. Ward Burt started 8th, so he gained 13 spots. 12 cars on the lead lap. watch this Napa field summary.
While we're doing this, Benny, let's talk about a couple of new regulations for next year. Two of the most important, I think. The driver and the car. The driver will be weighed with the car next year, right?
Yes. And I applaud them wholeheartedly. Again, I just think that Jimmy's on a racetrack like this, that Jimmy Spencer, some guys like that are a huge disadvantage because of there we see Jimmy Spencer right there, high on the racetrack. But I think that
a little guy goes by.
Yeah, a little guy goes by. I think that 70 or 80 pounds that he picks up, or 100, may help.
They're going to weigh the drivers a couple of times during the year and adjust the weight of the car accordingly. The other significant rule change involves the previous champion getting to pick first a pit selection. That will not happen beginning in '97. Up to now, the champion, regardless of where he qualifies at a particular racetrack, always gets first pick on the pit. That rule is abolished for '97.
Also, all engines will be 14-to-1 compression ratio, the same as they are in Daytona. Now, the restricted play races, they'll have to run the 14-to-1 here at Bristol, Michigan, all the other racetracks.
Maybe you ought to think about coming back now. You get that big back there, that weight situation.
I'd have a big advantage. But the cars are still going to have to weigh 3,400 pounds. They're going to adjust the weight after that.
Right. Just a little more than 200 laps to go here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Wallace, Gordon, Labonte, Jarrett, and Martin are your top five. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Bristol Motor Speedway. Dick Trickle, who was running in 23rd position, has entered the backstretch pits. The tire rubbing on the, looks like the right rear of the car.
Yeah, looks like he's had some damage, some contact or something back to the right rear. He made a pit stop a few laps ago. We see Johnny Benson are taking the air cleaner off. Looks like they're going to work on the carburetor.
Jarrett just passed the 5 car of Labonte and picked up 3rd position. It's still Rusty Wallace and Jeff Gordon 1st and 2nd. Now it's Jarrett Labonte. Running back in 5th is Mark Martin. And here is the Budweiser race recap. Rusty Wallace leading 167 of the first 305 laps. 6 lead changes, 5 caution periods, total of 36 laps, and the average speed is 93.5 miles an hour. Those are the drivers who have picked up the 5 bonus points, leading a lap, and nobody is officially listed as out of the race. Some cars that have been in for a long time include Joe Nemechek, 101 laps down, Jeff Burton, 140 laps down, and Jeff Bodine, 141 laps down.
As a matter of fact, the 99 car Jeff Burton just came back on the racetrack a few moments ago. And the 90 car, once again, Dick Trickle is in the pits on the back, so evidently they have some type of problem they can't quite figure out.
Rusty Wallace, our leader, has 5 top 5 finishes in the last 7 races here at Bristol. Meanwhile, Jeff Gordon trying to sweep both races in a year for the first time since Dale Earnhardt did it back in 1987. There's Mark Martin, who's 5th place. And the only driver eligible for the Unocal bonus money, which amounts to $68,400 this year. Wow. There is the 23 car of Jimmy Spencer. He's running in 5th place. Make that 6th place.
Yeah, I misled you there. 6th place.
Ward Burton's next in 7th. There he is, MDNA Pontiac. Ricky Rudd, Bill Weber told us on the break, is struggling. He's back in 7th, 8th spot, but struggling with a set of tires that just isn't matching up right now. There he goes, tied right.
Now we wait on the 21 car of Michael Waltrip, who is in 9th position. Incredibly, the Wood brothers have never won here at Bristol in all the years they've been racing. And finally, we'll show you the 10th runner right now. That is Ricky Craven. But right there with him is Bobby Hamilton.
And I think Craven's about to lose that 10th spot. Yes, he is. Bobby Hamilton, the 43 car, will get on the pylon.
And will complete the cars on the lead lap. There's the last one, Bobby Labonte, number 12. Rusty Wallace.
And once again, Rusty is staying right on that yellow line. See the on-track interval between Rusty Wallace and Jeff Gordon. And Rusty Wallace has been losing ground.
0.7 of a second there in those 5 laps.
I wonder if it might be in traffic. He has been in some pretty heavy traffic. In fact, he's in heavy traffic right now.
It's by Morgan Shepherd, who will leave that team next year to form his own. Rusty looking pretty good here after 318 of the 500 laps. He leads the Goody's Headache Powder 500 at Bristol Motor Speedway. Back in a moment. Well, you're riding around Bristol Motor Speedway, and you can jump on the information superhighway with www.nascar.com. It's NASCAR online. You can check in with the actual scoring that we're seeing, and plus you can jump on during the week and download just a whole bunch of information regarding NASCAR racing. It's NASCAR online. Well, the driver in trouble and losing positions is Dale Jarrett. He's back to 7th.
He gets in the corner. He tries to get by.
Oh, that's Gary Bradbury finally spinning around.
Caution is out.
And it's probably come at a good time because Dale will have to come in and get that problem corrected. He obviously was in need of a pit stop to correct whatever problem he was experiencing, and now the 6th caution comes out on lap 330. Gary Bradbury.
And the car won't start. He's dead in the water. It looked like Dale Jarrett's car. Something broke on it. It really looked like something broke. Bill Weber, what's going on with the 88?
Well, he thought he had a tire going down. These guys were on the wall waiting for him. The signboard was out for Dale Jarrett. Then the spin, the caution, and they celebrated the caution coming out. They're waiting for DJ to come down pit road. Huge, huge break for Dale Jarrett.
And here come those on the lead lap, led by Rusty Wallace, Jeff Gordon, Terry Labonte, Mark Martin, Jimmy Spencer, Ricky Rudd, and Dale Jarrett. Also, Mike Waltrip coming in. Here's Bill Weber.
Well, Dale Jarrett weaves his way in here, and he's got it parked in his pit. They go around to the right side. They're going to make a track bar adjustment and add a round of fight. Right side tires cleaning the windshield. Now it'll be a 4-tire change. Gordon and Labonte also on pit road. Rusty Wallace on pit road for tires and fuel. Working on the left sides here on DJ's car. DJ is away. He can't get around the 41. The 24 is already on its way. DJ had to back it up. Rudd beats him out. He was blocked in by the 41. Backstretch, John Kernan.
Ward Burton should move up to about the 6th position. He was running 7th. Cruz already changed right side tires. There goes Labonte, Spencer, and Mark Martin. Left side's on. A good stop for Ward Burton. It looks like he might be Ricky Rudd to the line.
All of this under caution. A lot of activity on pit road. Under caution for the 6th time tonight. Back in just a moment. Bob Jenkins, Benny Parsons, Ned Jarrett, Bill Weber, John Kernan, and Dr. Jerry Punch back at Bristol Motor Speedway. We're under caution. Here's why.
Dale Jarrett has moved over. Ricky Rudd's on the outside. That was a battle for position. He gets in the back of the 95, Gary Bradbury. They're showing his forward, and Bradbury loses control, and that brought out the caution flag.
Now, Dale Jarrett was struggling. He thought maybe he had a tire going down, but the report is that all 4 tires that came off Dale Jarrett's car were okay. Getting set for a restart in a couple of more laps. 334 down of the 500 here at Bristol. Back with more in just a moment. Back under green here at Bristol Motor Speedway in the Goody's Headache Powder 500. We're riding on top of Rusty Wallace's car, and up ahead is the leader, Jeff Gordon.
Rusty beginning to work on him. There he goes.
Man, oh man, that Rusty just lost his corners like he's shot out of a cannon.
Wallace into the lead.
That car is hooked up. He is driving the daylights out of it.
Jeff Gordon is staying with him at least. Oh, he sure is staying with him.
He said, "Hi, Rusty. Nice to meet you.
Still here.
Ritter, that one on the right. We'll be in trouble. Gordon's car out, it bounces around through the corners.
Go, getting up there close again. Well, now there are 157 laps to go, Benny. You know what that means.
Got a Heinz 57. There it is.
Spencer started 15th, running 4th. Jeff Burton started 21st. He's pitted on the backstretch and running 9th. Good run for Ward.
Jim Bebechek, the 87 car, the Burger King car, back on the track. And now Rusty starting to put a little distance between himself and Jeff Burton.
Terry Labonte staying close in 3rd.
Hanging in there in 4th spot. There he is, 23 car, Smoking Joe.
Well, it's been a great run for Jimmy, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. Some of Jimmy Spencer's best runs in his career has come here at Bristol. I don't think he's won at Bristol, and he has won at other places, Daytona and Talladega.
His best finish here, as a matter of fact, Benny, was in the spring race of '93 when he finished 4th. Place car.
Got a little racing room in front of himself and behind himself.
There's 6th place Ricky Rudd. Robert Presley is in 35th position. He got in trouble real early in the race.
Jim Burton, he was involved in the biggest crash of the night down in turn 1.
And Mike Walter has managed to stay on the lead lap and stay in the top 10 nearly all race. He's running 7th, and another good performance by Michael Walter. And right behind him is Dale Jarrett.
Headline, there you go.
That's a 98 spotter, I think.
Ward Burton is right behind Dale Jarrett. Ooh, as he works on Michael there a little bit.
Takes that spot away.
So Jarrett apparently has a car running a little better than before.
Oh, and there's a spin. Raven comes off the corner. The right rear blows out. The left front blows out.
Caution yet.
The left rear's blown. He's got 3 flat tires.
And he was running 10th when that happened.
And he can't get off the racetrack. Caution is coming out now.
7th caution of the evening comes out for Ricky Craven. Spin off turn number 2, and he can't get the car refired. We'll take another break and be back in just a moment. It's one of the funnest places to do a NASCAR Winston Cup race at. These people that come here for this night race at Bristol are always among the most enthusiastic of the entire year that we experience. They are here by the thousands tonight.
Yeah, by the thousands is correct.
Bruce Smith hopes to have 113,000 seats around this half-mile racetrack by the time we come here next year. Can you believe that?
Wow.
All right, let's take a look at what happened that caused this most recent caution period. Watch the right of your screen.
It looks like Craven gets loose coming off the turn. He might have been just a little bit low coming off the turn. The back end breaks loose, and then the tire starts popping as he locked the brakes up. And then it just simply got down the frame, Benny, and he couldn't go.
That's right. I mean, he did get the engine refired, but the car was dragging the earth to the point it would not roll. Bill Weber?
Well, Ricky Craven has limped in here, sparking and sputtering. The car now sits on pit road. Changed the left sides, are working on the right side. Fluid pouring out of the back. They had a great car, but they're not going to have very good finish. Back up top.
Yes, indeed. He was having a great night, had run in the top 10 all race long and was 10th, battling for that position with Bobby Hamilton when the incident occurred. Michael Waltrip is on pit road in 9th position.
Might be a good strategy, stop and get some fresh tires right now.
Yep, and some gas. They can go the rest of the way now. We'll be back in just a moment. Racing coming up tomorrow on ESPN and ESPN2, beginning at 7:45 tomorrow morning. Breakfast at Belgium, the Grand Prix race. That's at 7:45. RPM today at 11 o'clock on the Deuce. Then tune over to the Classic Network at 12:30. Benny and Dave and everybody will be there for the Parts America 150, followed on ESPN2 by the Featherlight Modifieds, and then a wrap-up on RPM tonight at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. You excited?
If you don't know what the Parts America 150 is, it's the Craftsman Truck Series. And yes, I am very, very excited.
And I'll tell you what, I am very excited about seeing the Modifieds. Here's Jerry Punch with some pit strategy.
Robin Pemberton, you guys pitted on lap 330. That means 170 if it stays green. First of all, can you make it on fuel?
It'll be close. These cautions will help here, but everybody stayed out. Everybody's in the same boat. I mean, there's been a caution every 60 or 75 laps from now, you know. So if we'd have come in, I think the 24 probably would have stayed out, and hell, we've probably got one of them wrecks.
So you might be close, but you had no choice.
There's no choice right now.
Okay, Robin said they're going to be close on fuel, but they didn't have a choice. They had to stay out.
So Rusty Wallace and the others stay out. He leads over Jeff Gordon, Terry Labonte, Jimmy Spencer, and Mark Martin. We'll be right back. Green flag has been out for one lap. Back to racing with 364 laps completed. It is still Rusty Wallace, your leader, with Gordon in second spot, and then a battle for position back of them.
As we were watching the speed shot, Sterling Marlin dove off the banking onto pit road.
Sterling was already 2 laps down, now losing more.
I think only one car that started the race isn't out there. That would be the 28 of Ernie Irvin. The 7 has come back onto the track, so has the 1 of Rick Mast. And so I believe that Ernie Irvin's car is the only one that is behind the wall. Everybody else still in, which is pretty amazing for Bristol.
It really is, and especially as many cautions as we've had, spins and wrecks and all that kind of stuff.
We have had a lot of damage impaired. You can see Ken Schrader's Budweiser car that's damaged in the front end.
Yeah, you can see the racetrack right around there. You see that spot? There was a spot in the left front. There we go.
Yeah.
See that spot right there? That's the racetrack.
Yeah.
And there's tape flapping in the breeze.
Battle for 7th position. Jarrett in 88. Burton in 22.
And Burton gets under him.
Yeah, boy, they have had a scramble back there trying to get around some lap traffic. Ricky Rudd finally got around Brett Bodine, and so he has pulled on the way.
Remember a while ago, Jarrett lost several positions. Then a caution came out. They checked all 4 tires. They were okay, and Dale is running well again. Now the battle becomes between 21 of Waltrip and Burton, and Waltrip just passed him, but Waltrip did make a pit stop.
He did make a pit stop, took on 4 tires. I think that was a very good strategy on their part. No question but what they can go the rest of the way as far as fuel is concerned. And he didn't lose anything. He was running 9th when he came into the pit. He was running 9th when he came out of the pit because the other cars that were on the lead lap pitted also on the backstretch. That would be Bobby Labonte and Bobby Hamilton.
Well, among those that John Kernan listed as dark horses, certainly Michael is doing the best. He's 8th. The other dark horses that he mentioned were Kenny Wallace, who's 16th, and the 41 of Craven, who was doing well until he crashed a few laps ago and has now fallen back to 22nd, 6 laps behind. Mark Martin comes in on the 23 of Spencer for 4th.
Now for 4 spots, Spencer goes up the hill, and Mark says, "See ya, Jimmy."
Just drove right on around.
Mark was the last to win this race from the pole. That happened back in 1993.
Mark says, "If you can hold the gate like that, I'm going to drive through." Darrell Waltrip to 17.
More. Still there, clear.
Darrell Waltrip's running 14th, by the way, in the lap down.
Maybe let Dale Jarrett get by, but he's going to hold his brother up there just a minute.
There's a Napa field summary.
Wasn't quite enough room. Now there might be some room.
One more. Closing fast. Clear.
That's Darrell's spotter.
One of the spotters told me last week that the phrases to use in Michigan were
inside,
clear high, clear ho, and clear low, and whoops.
One more.
And a spotter here told me that the key phrase was, "Are you okay?"
Big clearing behind the 18.
Well, we haven't seen any of that tonight. No serious crashes at all, thank goodness.
Stay with them now, Darrell. Stay with them. The rest of the guys all had new tires on. All those cars stood fancy and on new tires. Stay with them.
That's Jim Hammond. Yeah. Talking to his driver. Bobby Labonte and Bobby Hamilton. They're the last cars on the lead lap. They are running in the 10th and 11th positions. Bobby Labonte 11th, Bobby Hamilton 10th.
Now, there's no doubt that all those cars, the 18, the 43, the 21 that stopped just a moment ago, can go the distance on the fuel because they stopped with 145 laps to go. But some of these cars did not stop. They've got to run 170 laps. We heard Robin Pemberton say, yes, we think we can make it. We don't know, but and in a survey that our pit reporters did, all of them said they could make it except Dale Jarrett's crew, so they might not be able to make it.
Well, I'm surprised that they've not been able to come in during that time because you get late in the race, you normally don't have as many cautions as you do earlier. You only have 11 cars on the lead lap. Of course, most of the race cars are still out on the racetrack, but I'm surprised they didn't come in top off. Let's go to the pits with Jerry Punch.
What Robin Pemberton didn't tell us was that he already knew that the 24 car and the 5 car were getting excellent fuel mileage. Both could go easily 175 laps. And the 21 car that made the pit stop is smoking. Apparently a problem with Michael Waltrip.
Well, it might have slipped coming off the turn. Let's see if we see it again.
It was smoking pretty bad down there in the first and second turns last lap, but I don't see any this time.
Well, it looked like tire smoke.
Yeah, he probably just slipped a little bit coming off the turn. There, Dale Jarrett gets under Ricky Rudd, and Michael Waltrip's going to come right with
Rudd trying there it is again.
Yeah,
now.
Sure is.
That's not tire smoke.
Yeah. Unless it's a tire, I mean a fender rubbing the tire. I don't know.
It comes and goes. That's the strange thing about it.
Well, that is somewhat of an indication that it might be a tire rubbing a little bit, but you'd think that it would do it every time he goes into the corner. I don't know.
Rudd has 9 more races to keep his streak going. He's won a race every year since 1983. Is winless so far in 1996. They are the top 5 after 389 laps at Bristol Motor Speedway. Rusty Wallace is leading ESPN's Speed World presentation of the Goody's Headache Powder 500 from Bristol Motor Speedway, being brought to you by Craftsman, a line of 2,200 hand tools made in America, guaranteed forever only at Sears. By Texaco Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. Take it to the star. And by the Miller Brewing Company, proud sponsor of the Miller Racing Team. We race for beer. And it is the Miller Ford that leads with Rusty Wallace behind the wheel. And Jeff Gordon is the second car back there as we look from Rusty Wallace's machine.
You can see Rusty Wallace as he closes in on the back of Lake Speed, and that's Chad Little once again in the 29 car. Not sure who's driving that 29 car in Darlington.
Greg Saxon in for a number of laps. Now Chad Little for this race. Leisinger ended up at Watkins Glen.
points race as Chevy has a 1-point lead over Ford. Chevy has 11 wins and 13 poles, and Ford has 10 wins and 6 poles. It couldn't get any closer than that. 157 to 156 in Pontiac, of course, third with 82.
Rusty Wallace still not able to get by. I try to show you some of the things that we talk about. We talk about adding weight. We do it with this bar right there. That's an extension that sits on top of the right rear spring is right down there. All right. This back here is the adjustment for the panhard bar. They can raise that or lower it. That's the extension that goes down to that. These cables that you see here dangling, that's for the roof flaps. So when the flaps go up, that goes up, catches so that they only go about 45, about 90 degrees up, that they don't tumble over. Those hoses that we see here go in and cool things like the gear and the rear end. It goes to the radiator that cools the gear and the gear oil. Sometimes they have transmission.
You ever think about being an artist, Benny?
Yeah, right. We see an antenna for the radio. And more hoses coming in. Going down to, once again, those hoses coming in. And let's see. I don't like that looks like battery cables. The blue cables look like battery cables. Probably are. And let's see.
What's that?
That's the driver.
Oh, yeah.
He's busy.
Michael Waltrip.
And here's the trouble up in turn 4.
Looks like that John Andretti has had serious contact with the wall. The front end of that car is torn away.
And either Bobby Labonte or Dave Marcus is involved in it. It's Bobby Labonte coming right off of turn 4 here. He's getting out of the car.
He's got his foot hung.
Yeah, he's got his foot hung right now.
But he kicked the door.
His car up against the wall just at the start of the main straightaway. Bobby Labonte was running in 11th position.
You normally don't see Bobby lose his cool, but he's upset about something.
Sure is.
And he probably has reason to. Wow. Bobby was upset. That is something rare that you very seldom see Bobby Labonte get upset. So there was something big that happened there that caused him to get upset.
Meanwhile, those on the lead lap come in for a pit stop.
Well, that'll take all the gas mileage situation out. Let's go to the pits.
Expecting a forward tire change for Rusty Wallace. You look down pit road. Jeff Gordon, he'll take a roundabout out of the right rear. Terry Labonte also in the pits in the 21 car. Cisco Ford, Michael Waltrip. Now, Rusty Wallace liked to see this caution flag. They were very, very close on fuel as he is down and away. The 24 and 5 car could have made it on fuel. Problem with the left rear on Terry Labonte's car. He is still in the pits as now finally he's off the jack and down and away. Let's go to the back pits with John Kernan.
Ward Burton was not going to be able to make it all the way if the race had stayed green. Chris Nussey told me they'd have to pit with about 25 laps left for 2 seconds of fuel. Now a problem on the right rear or on the left rear tire. Finally, they get the lug nuts tightened and Ward is away, but he doesn't have to worry about fuel. Ward can make it the rest of the way.
As will everybody. Both drivers involved in this incident. There's John Andretti. He's finally crawled out of his car. And, of course, Bobby Labonte was out earlier. Very, very unhappy with what had occurred. Maybe we can tell by the 42 onboard camera what happened. It's way up ahead, and not really. See Labonte getting in trouble there, could we? Way at the top of your screen. There's Andretti getting in the fence. Now Bobby Labonte, whose car will end up.
He hits Andretti.
Yeah. Andretti was stopped in the track, and Labonte came along and hit him and then slid up into the wall. Bobby is a little bit upset and therefore does not want to talk with us right now. The Little Caesars Kmart Ford is in bad shape, but John Andretti is okay. 412 laps have been completed. Less than 100 to go here as the caution light is on for the 8th time this evening. Back in a moment. Back at Bristol Motor Speedway, they can't get John Andretti's car down off the bank, and that just goes to show you how steep these banks are here. 36 degrees. That car is a mess, and they have not yet got it off the banking. Bristol brings out the best and the worst in drivers and always brings out emotion. Bobby Labonte experienced some of that emotion just a few minutes ago when he got out of his car.
I mean, the kid had a great run going. He gets out, and he's just so frustrated. He can't stand it. I mean, man, he was in the lead lap, and it's over with. Man, oh, man, why did this have to happen to me?
And then walking down the banking, he was limping slightly, maybe because he kicked the car. I don't know, but I hope he's not hurt. He is a mild-mannered person, does not show emotion very often, but this track brings it out, doesn't it?
Sure does. Yes, we've seen it lots of times on this racetrack.
And they're still trying to get Andretti's car.
He was running on the lead lap, and there were less than 100 laps to go. In fact, about 85 laps to go when the incident occurred. Well, we wonder who's going to win this thing. Last week, the true value man of the race was, of course, Dale Jarrett for winning the race at Michigan International Speedway. After 21 races, he is ahead in every category from last year. Look at the points position. He was 14th at this point last year. He's 4th in points this year, has 3 more wins, 10 more races led, and 4 more top 10s than in 1995. True value racer of last week, Goodwrench 400. Dale Jarrett, $1,000 donated on his behalf to Brenner's Children's Hospital, and Dale contributes to many charities. Let's go to Bill Weber.
And Bobby Labonte is climbed out of the Interstate Batteries rig. What happened, Bob?
Oh, man, I just drilled the 37 car up there. He was spun out, and I was trying to pass that 42 car again and was on the outside of him. I guess he realized I was there after about the 3rd lap. And went to the outside. The 37 car was there, and I didn't know he was there. We were talking on the radio trying to get NASCAR to move the 42, and I guess in between all that stuff, I hit the 37 car as hard as I could because I couldn't go anywhere else. So that's just the way it goes. Had a pretty decent car, but finished it off.
Okay, normally very mild-mannered. Obviously, this track can really bring out the frustration in the drive.
You could be a wolf man every now and then, but sometimes you can only take so much. You get pretty PO'd for a while, but you get over it after a while. It's just racing. At least we got Darlington to go to next weekend, but when we try to get by some guys, man, I tell you, it's tough to do out there. And, you know, they didn't mention in the driver's meeting for the slow cars to go to the outside, and I guess they got to do it next time, but they didn't do it this time, and maybe they need to say something.
Okay, Bob, thanks a lot. He came out of the rig to talk after he cooled off a little bit, Bobby Labonte.
There's the badly battered car that Bobby Labonte got out of. We're still under caution, so we're going to take another break here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Stay with us. The cleanup continues down in turn number 4. We continue to be under our 8th caution of the evening. 421 laps have been completed. Let's take a look at the quest for the Cup and the 4 horsemen, as we will call them, those in contention for the championship. As far as momentum is concerned, the average finish the last 6 races, the award there to Dale Jarrett, who has a 5.5 average finish in the last 6 races. Now our next category, average finish at the last race at the remaining tracks. Well, the edge goes there to Jeff Gordon, who has a 6.1 average finish at those racetracks. Compare that to Dale Jarrett's 12.4. And how about the important 26th or worst place finish in 1996? Terry Labonte has the edge there with only 1. Jeff Gordon has 5. So that gives you an indication as to what we might look for in the races remaining in the season. Now, the points, if they were awarded right now, would show Terry Labonte in the lead with Gordon second. Dale Jarrett would move up a spot, Dale Earnhardt down a position, and Mark Martin would remain in 5th. Dale Earnhardt is shown in 26th position at the moment, 21 laps down. We'll take another break while we're under caution. Less than a lap under color green, Rusty Wallace at the front of the field. Jeff Gordon second, then Mark Martin, Jimmy Spencer, and in fifth position is Terry Labonte.
Now make that sixth.
Okay, Dale Jarrett is in fifth position. Sorry about that.
He just passed him right as you were saying that, Bob.
Labonte back to sixth, and Michael Waldrop in seventh position. Then Rudd, Burton, and Hamilton. Those are the only cars on the lead lap. Only 5 leaders tonight. Rusty Wallace has already clinched the 5 bonus points for leading the most laps.
Michael Waltrip watches all this action.
Jeremy Mayfield trying to get it around Darrell Waltrip. And Darrell hanging on there. Darrell is running in 11th place, 1 lap down. Now Mayfield is, Darrell might not know that he's 3 laps down. And Jeremy's going to have to make a decision. Too long now. Should I be up here racing with these guys? Is either 1 lap down or some of them no laps down? We're giving them room, but all of them have fresh tires, and it's pretty tough to pass for at least 8 or 10 laps when they have fresh tires.
Hang tough with it now.
It was there.
It's nice to move at 17, or everybody's going to pass. Get out.
Clear on the apron of the racetrack on the left side wheels to get by Jeremy. Brett Bodine's having a pretty good race. He's 12th, only a lap down.
He has been running very, very well.
He had one spell in there about between the 200 and 300 lap mark that his car seemed to be awfully loose, and he got a lap down. He has run good since then.
There's the interval between first and second. It's what, about 4 or 5
much.
Like, yeah,
that's what it is. Not much. Jeff Gordon looks like he has his car adjusted as well as he's had it all night long.
And this is the time to have it adjusted right. Is near the end of the race.
This was the site of Rusty's first NASCAR Winston Cup win, April of 1986. You watch another battle in the upper right of your screen. That's Jarrett and Labonte battling for 5th.
Or 4th, whichever. That's 5th, actually. You're right.
Yeah. Jarrett has 5th, and Labonte has 6th.
Jimmy Spencer is 4th. There's the first and second place car of Rusty Wallace and Jeff Gordon. Behind these 2 cars, Mark Martin is just not that far away. There he is. And Mark's car looks to really run well on long runs. I don't know if you call 60 laps a long run or not.
Mark Martin starting from the pole will win $68,400 in Unical bonus money if he wins the race. It was last won by Jeff Gordon at Pocono in June 9 races ago. Here's Ricky Rudd and Ward Burton as they go for the 8th position.
And Ricky Rudd's running that Jimmy Spencer line, goes in the corner high, stays high. Well, that time he stayed about the middle of the racetrack. Oh, that time he went to the moon.
Yeah, he sure did. Meanwhile, the separation between Jarrett and Labonte about the same as Jarrett comes up on Darrell Waltrip, who's 11th, a lap down.
Darrell moved up and gave him room. Now Jarrett's going to go by. And Labonte will come right with him. Now his brother's going to come up on him, Darrell's brother.
And that's how far they are behind the leader of the race. Mark Martin may be the fastest car on the racetrack. He closes in on Jeff Gordon.
But Rusty now pulling away a little bit from Jeff Gordon. I'd have said, hey, not only worry about the 24, but Gordon and Earnhardt get together a little bit. And wow.
Earnhardt back in 25th spot. 3 laps down.
And that let Rusty pull farther away. What I started to say is that maybe the crew said, don't only worry about that 24, that 6 car's coming, so maybe Rusty turned the wick up a little bit.
I'm sorry, Earnhardt is 22 laps down.
Yeah, we can see just how much of an advantage that Rusty was able to get.
Ward Burton and Ricky Rudd just going at it tooth and nail. Rudd using that high line, and Ward closes in and pulls alongside him once in a while as he's doing down, but Rudd has been able to hold off the advance and does again.
Boy, that's frustrating.
If he's got to run down the backstretch. Nope, Rudd's going to hold him off.
Well, Rudd's giving him plenty of room.
Not this time.
He's got it. So Burton moves up to 8th. Rusty Wallace leads the Goody's Headache Powder 500 at Bristol Motor Speedway with now just 51 laps to go. Speed World tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway, Northeast Tennessee. The Goody's Headache Powder 500 being led by Rusty Wallace. Tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern Time from Watkins Glen International, the Craftsman Truck Series, the Parts America 150. Benny Parsons, Dave Despain on hand to see if Mike Skinner can hang on to his points lead or whether Ron Hornaday Jr. can take the lead. It'll be at 12:30 Eastern tomorrow afternoon. Jarrett and Spencer hooked up in a good battle. Jarrett goes to 4th. And another battle, this one for 2nd position. Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon.
We can listen to Mark Martin's car and tell that he's not able to get on the gasoline, the accelerator. He gets on, he goes blip, blip. He's not able to wade in that thing and hold it wide open off the corner like he would in qualifying. Listen. Almost on the straight of it before he's able to go all the way down.
And you're only on it for just a couple seconds, aren't you?
Yeah. Off the gas. See Johnny Benson, the 30 car, and Kenny Wallace, the 81, the Square D car. Gordon gets by. Mark Martin tries to get back, gets a little bit loose as he comes off the corner.
Kenny Wallace is 3 laps down, but he's in 15th position.
Martin goes down the corner, turn that wheel, comes off the corner. Done by feel.
See that heavy traffic up ahead of them.
See Earnhardt.
Not too long ago, Jeff was lapping Dale and went to the inside. Now he stays on the outside here on the main straightaway to put Earnhardt another lap down. He's 23 down now.
I think Earnhardt, the last time, was moving over to let Jeff go by on the outside, and Jeff had committed to go by on the inside. Spencer losing another spot to the 5 car of Labonte, so that puts Labonte up in 5th. Spencer back to 6th. .76 seconds separate 1st and 2nd. 1.70. But Rusty passed a car, and the 2 car did pass a car. Rusty Wallace. Goes in behind Derek Cope, the 12 car. Maintained about the same that time.
Yep. And the laps are rapidly clicking off here.
32 more to go for Rusty now.
See when Jeff Gordon passed the 29 car, he lost about 0.2 of a second, about 0.15 of a second to the leader, Rusty Wallace. But it will average out. Rusty will do the same thing when he runs across traffic. Now traffic. Rusty's in heavy traffic. Talk about handling, folks, and it's so critical, especially on these short racetracks, being able to use the accelerator off the corner. That's what we talk about by handling. And we see Martin, we listen to his engine and how little he's using the accelerator. Just think the cars that are running back in 7th and 8th, they're using even less.
Well, the Dollenbach slowed dramatically coming off of turn 2, but he did get back down on the bank, and one car was about to run into it, but managed not to.
So Rusty has a 1.5 second lead now on Gordon and Mark Martin. Rusty has recorded 12 wins and 8 second place finishes in the last 31 short track races that have been run in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. Just 20 more laps to go in the Goody's Headache Powder 500 from Bristol Motor Speedway. 6th place battle is between Jimmy Spencer in 23 and Michael Waltrip in 21. On board Michael's car.
And Spencer is still running that high line. Don't know if his car won't work down on the bottom of the racetrack, but he's been going high. That usually, at that time, he's stayed down a little bit, but that usually opens the door for somebody to go under him. We've seen several cars pass him. But he's still done a good job of staying up there in the top 5, and top 10 certainly all night.
In the last 5 races here, Jimmy Spencer's best finish was 13th. That came in the spring race this year.
Michael's going to try to go on the outside. Now that'd be a switch for Jimmy Spencer to be passed on the outside.
Michael's close to his best finish of the year. His best finish of the year was a 5th at Talladega. He's 7th right now, but a good run from Michael Waltrip. How about the 24 the 6? Well, they're still in the same position, but now we go back to this battle, and I thought Michael might have a run on it, and he still might.
But he can't quite get that traction he needs coming off the turn down on the inside. Jimmy certainly giving him room down on the inside.
I guess we could go back to that very first round of pit stops, huh, BP, when Spencer went for track position, got it. Oh, there he got a little loose.
He got it loose and lost that spot, yeah.
But nevertheless, he did get track position, and he's been able to hold it all race long.
Yes, he has.
Waltrip up to 6th. See what Mr. Excitement does here. Big traffic jam ahead of Waltrip and Spencer. Bradbury, Kenny Wallace, and Dick Trickle.
Michael working that traffic outside of one, dip down to the inside of the other one. Spencer comes right on through.
They're telling Jimmy Spencer the 22 car is not that far behind Ward Burton.
Meanwhile, you see on your scoring pylon that the separation between 1st and 2nd is still right around the 1.5 second area.
Bristol.
Sure doesn't. This thing is going to be over in just a few minutes.
These laps are about, I would guess, about 16.5 seconds.
That's what they're running, Benny.
Short tracks, Rusty Wallace is about to add another one to his resume, but let's not be too premature. He's got a lot of traffic to go through.
About half the field is directly in front of him, and there's only one car right now, Ernie Irvin, between he and Jeff Gordon.
Gordon's got away about 3 or 4 car lengths from Mark Martin. With these cars running side by side, that's tough for Rusty.
And there, look, there he is. Jeff Gordon's right there.
Remember last year when Dale Earnhardt closed the gap in the last couple of laps and came on to a close second. Our mechanic of the race is Donnie Wingo. Western Auto sponsorship goes to the Western Auto Mechanic.
Donnie Wingo is the crew chief for Jimmy Spencer's Smoking Joe car.
Congratulations to Donnie. That interval now down to less than a second here with 5 laps to go. We're watching from Mark Martin's perspective. That's Gordon up ahead. Just a matter of car lengths now.
Rusty Wallace. There's Johnny Benson's yellow car, and directly in front of him is Rusty Wallace. They're running out of laps. Now the 12 car of Larry Cope is in there. Man, oh man. As tired as these drivers are, they're still going at it as hard as they can.
And the white flag will be coming out next time. Wallace in turns 3 and 4. Here's the white flag. 1 to go. Interval remains about the same. There's Gordon in second. Mark Martin in third. Rusty Wallace brings it off the 4th corner and wins the Goody's Headache Powder 500. Rusty Wallace, his 6th victory here at Bristol, 46th career NASCAR Winston Cup win, and ties it for 11th on the all-time list with Buck Baker. Spencer finishes about a car length ahead of Ward Burton. Bill Weber.
Well, Robin's still on top of the toolbox. Now he finally jumps down. And Robin, I told you before the race, the numbers were yours. How about it?
Yeah, it was great. The guys did a great job in the pits, and I always got to compliment them. Rusty drove the smartest race I've ever seen him drive. And the 5th win, I at least got to say hello to Lisa, Bray, and Briggs at home. I've neglected them a little bit this year, but everybody did. It was a great team effort for us, great.
Well, they were able to hold off that 24 car, too, down the stretch there.
It's awful tough. They're awful good. What can I say? Traffic got them. They would catch us, and the traffic would hold them up a little bit, but we've all been there, gone through the same thing before. What can I say? They've run a great race. It was a clean race for the leaders anyways, and, thanks for the lap cars getting out of the way.
Number 5.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, a lot of times 5 in a career is pretty good, but 5 in 1 year is pretty good. It's a great race team.
Congratulations to Robin Pemberton, Rusty Wallace, and the Miller Ford in Victory Lane at Bristol.
It's the 11th Ford win of 1996, and they take the manufacturer's points lead with Rusty's victory here tonight. The flash bulbs are going off as Rusty makes his way toward Victory Lane. We'll be back to talk with the winner of the Goody's Headache Powder 500 in just a moment. Wallace wins. There he is, Rusty Wallace, in our McDonald's Winner's Circle interview from Dr. Jerry Punch.
As the fireworks explode in the background, Rusty congratulates Robin Pemberton on a great call. Rusty, 40 a week ago, you're just getting better with age.
I think we're getting better with age. Him and I were 40. We're getting pretty good at it, pal.
Oh, yeah, we're good at the park.
Oh, man, I'll tell you, the old motor run good. Robin made some really killer calls today. The car was real hot rod and handled perfect all day.
You know, it's almost, it couldn't get much easier on a tough half mile like Bristol. You made it look pretty easy tonight. I know it wasn't, though.
Well, we worked really hard on the car to make sure it handled great. And on those restarts, man, I just didn't have any lead in my rear, and I had to get going. I just want to get away from them. There's old Gordon back there chomping at a bit, complaining, and I had to get away from him, you know. Whole car run good, and I'm really happy the way everything went for everybody. I'd like to thank all the sponsors. I'd like to have to send our condolences to T. Wayne, who lost his father. And I'd like to take all those Democrats that are trying to get up tobacco out here and tell them to stick it up, you know where, vote Dole, man. Do that.
Hey, speaking of which, talking about victories, your win tonight gives Ford the manufacturer's point lead.
Well, that's good. At least I can add to something, and I love it. I'd just like to thank my entire team, the engine department, everybody, all our sponsors, Fleetwood, Mobile, Mead Paper Company, Miller Brewing Company, Goodyear. The tires were really great today. You know, we didn't like the tires the first race. These were really awful good tires.
Hey, your engine builder, Mike Aggie, told you would not have a problem again like you had last week at Michigan, losing the motor, and he kept his promise.
Yeah, that deal last week was awful fluke, and it's one thing when you lose a motor and you don't know why, but we know exactly why the motor went, and that's good. We haven't had any engine problems to speak of all year long, and the car's been fast. You know, I screwed up at Watkins Glen. We lost a motor at Michigan. This is our 5th win, and we're still going for 10.
Rusty Wallace in victory lane for the 5th time in 1996. Hey, what a celebration. Let's check in with the second-place finisher, Jeff Gordon.
Well, Jeff, you had a heck of a run, but you needed longer green flag runs.
I tell you what, I've never felt better after a Bristol race. I'm ready to go another 100 laps. And
we can arrange that.
I wish I could have. You know, my car was so strong on long runs, it just took it forever to get going. But, man, once I got my rhythm, once the tires, you know, came to our pressures, man, that thing was strong. And we showed that early on. But, you know, Rusty was so strong, I just have to let him go because he was eating us up on new tires and on short runs. But I really believe, you know, that we could have run him down. We were running him down there at the end. I tell you, lap cars were just off, which is normal here for Bristol, and you got to deal with that. But I'm real happy with the second-place finish. It's a strong effort. This is what we need to do tonight.
And you picked up a few points, sole possession of second place now.
Well, you know, you always want to win. I mean, I can't ever forget about that. But, you know, the points are definitely there. We still got, you know, 9 or 10 races left to go, and we gained on them. That's what we got to do. And I'm real proud of the team. They kept me up front, and track position's real important here. So I want to, you know, thank God for keeping everything safe on that car, man. I tell you, all 4 fenders are on it, and that's saying something when you leave here.
And he came home second tonight.
There you've heard from the first 2 finishers, Rusty Wallace, the winner, and Jeff Gordon, second place. And as we indicated, Ford now has possession of the Manufacturers Championship. Jeff Gordon in sole possession of second place in the point standings. Back in a moment. Rusty Wallace has come away with a victory on ES Speed World's coverage of the Goody's Headache Powder 500. Being brought to you by Pennzoil Motor Oil, first to fully achieve the tougher 1997 GF2 performance standard. By Firestone, America's tire since 1900. By Chevrolet, one car company has won more races in the history of NASCAR, genuine Chevrolet. And by the NASCAR Story. To order, call 871 NASCAR. Coming up in here in just a few moments, ESPN Sports Center. And what are they going to tell us about? Well, some late-inning baseball heroics. The Kickoff Classic. I can't believe it's time for college football already. And the preseason NFL action. All that coming up right after we conclude our coverage here on ESPN. And we are going to be taking another break and be back to wrap things up from Bristol Motor Speedway in just a moment, where Rusty Wallace has come home the winner. Welcome back to Bristol Motor Speedway, and here are the unofficial results of the race here this evening. Bobby Hamilton finished in 10th position, the last car on the lead lap. Wallace, Gordon, Martin, Jarrett, Labate, Waltrip, Spencer, Burton, and Rudd preceded him.
And Lake Speed, Jeremy Mayfield, Sterling Marlin comes back after his crash, finishes 18th. There's Morgan, Strickland, Craven, Bobby Hill, and Chad Little. Earnhardt finishes 24th.
And the rest of the finishing positions, 4 cars were out of the race when the checkered flag dropped.
And obviously all of these cars on this page had a lot of problems.
Now the points. Labate holds on to the lead. Jeff Gordon moves up 1. Dale Jarrett moves up 1. Earnhardt down 2. Martin the same. Rudd stays the same. Rusty Wallace gains 3 positions. Schrader and Marlin stay 8th and 9th. And Ernie Irvin, the big loser here tonight, he finished in loses 3 positions. Now, Winston Cup qualifying Friday from Darlington on the Deuce. The Busch Grand National Duraloop 200 from Darlington at 1 o'clock next Saturday. Then Sunday, NASCAR today, followed by the Mountain Dew Southern 500 at 1 o'clock on ESPN. Can Dale Jarrett win the Winston Million? Rusty Wallace wins here tonight. SportsCenter is coming up next. Thanks for joining us here tonight. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.